ladies and gents, that last grand finals was good, but we've got another gift in store. It's time for advanced finals, baby. Requiem takes on Backcap, boys. It's still Classy and I holding it down here at Get Good. I'm ready for the action. How about you, Classy?
I'm always ready for more action, especially if it's Overwatch. And Requiem versus Backcap Boys is looking to be a good matchup. Now, Backcap Boys also coming off of a lower bracket finals match. They're the ones fighting their way back up. They just had a 3-1 game, so a little bit more contested than we just had the last team of the Lab Champs come in with. But we just saw that lower bracket finals, having played it, could maybe be an advantage. Be warmed up, be ready for anything. And the Backcap Boys are going to hopefully prove that as well. Going into Nepal first, that's going to be our first map again. It's been a good map to watch. You know, it's not been one of those maps where you're thinking, oh, this is complete stomp for one of the teams or for the other team. It was very up against it last time around, and if these teams can recreate that, we might be in for a heck of a finals.
Yeah, I think Nepal is really interesting, especially given the current meta, because it can break away a lot of these molds that we see. The double shield, yes, it's powerful, but you know what else is powerful? Running a May on Village, and it's things like that can really pull apart these common ones. Things that are usually played like the Symmetra on Nightmark can make the double shield a little bit more awkward. It can make it a little bit more open to being pulled apart by a Pharah. So the control maps tend to try and pull these teams on the compositions they might not be comfortable with, and I think that can be the real defining factor in a lot of these series.
Yeah, and a big difference, of course, on a lot of control maps is because you play so much closer and so much brawlier in a lot of situations. You see much more Reinhardt being played instead of Orisa. A lot of the time, you'll see Ryan Sigma or Ryan Orisa sometimes, but at least the Reinhardt will come into play a bit more. And that usually begs the question, who will go on the Reinhardt and who will go on the Orisa, or who will go on the Sigma? Because you have two tank players, but most of the time, they can both play Reinhardt, and then it's all about who plays that other hero that they choose to go with. Going onto Shrine, though, the most open, the most versatile of the points. There's not that much here to obscure you from doing any particular composition. So a lot of flexibility possible, but it's all about what the teams will actually show us. And we're going to get ready for this game. Grand Finals, Advanced Division, GGNA Season 5, the pinnacle of advanced play. And we're going to bring the action to you right here, of course.
And we're seeing two very different approaches to this match already. You said one of the teams is going Reinhardt. Well, it's not just a Sigma or the Orisa they're pairing with it. They're going balls to the walls aggression here with Snow on the Zarya. So much damage being loaded up for the Backcap boys, but being able to survive is going to be the real trick for them.
Yeah, especially with Lucio, Ana. Yeah, you'll have a lot of brawl, but that single target healing of Ana, you have to hit some huge anti-nades if you want to make that one work. Ooh, go in. Oh, yeah.
They get to set themselves up on point first, right? So this is going to allow them to actually try and hold a choke. You don't have to rely on the shield so much as you would need to, because you can now start using the architecture of point. You find a first pick on a snipe, you're feeling a lot better about your odds. Bandit dives in onto the Ana, but can't find much more value in that. Burning down, and down they go. Backcap boys looking to send themselves on to a first point tip.
Yeah, and beating the Ana is a risky choice here from ATR, but you have the option to hit some beautiful anti-nades, hit some sleep darts, and it's going to be all about the utility. And when you have a Reinhardt that's being hard-pocketed by an Ana, and you give him that nano boost, it's still so threatening. You don't want to run into a Reinhardt that's glowing hot and just running at you, swinging his hammer, that's being pocketed by that Ana.
Not to mention, the Doomfist is another interesting pick. A lot of the time we've been seeing the Genji, but the Doomfist has some pretty solid pick potential, and this is a fantastic map to be running, and we'll see exactly why in a second when he comes flying in onto the back line. Just waiting for the right opportunity to do a ton of damage. Slams and knocks him around, pulls apart the double shield, pushing straight through the amplification matrix. The Patty Cake is not feeling so good. The Baker Man's arrived, and his name is Snipe, throws in the bombs, finishes them off, and Requiem set themselves to take over the point for their first tick.
Yeah, they're going to be able to recap this, of course, and the best of all, they only had to invest 2 ultimates. So they'll be very good for the next one, holding on to 3 with their tank ultimates and that all-important, all-threatening Nanoblade. And they don't even have an immortality field to worry about. No sound barrier to worry about. The only thing that can really stop Bandit is either a Shatter or maybe even a solo graph or a Graviton in general from Snow. But other than that, nothing to stun. Maybe the Sleep Dart will be a relatively free raid late in this meta.
Well, you wanted an aggressive flux to avoid that shadow. There it is. Bandit finishes off with the blade. and they just commit 2 to win the fight yet again.
Very well done. Of course, they do start bleeding ultimates that way, where you win the fight, but it's a very quick one. So not the only team not only doesn't get a chance to use any ultimates really, but they also get a chance to build up some more. So the ult advantage will be now in the favor of the Backcap Bandits. And when the percentage is evening up, then it's a very nice position for them to be in.
Well, they're going to start off just right. Meteor Strike up. The Graviton has been used, but doesn't find anything. Instead, it's the Bob of Maru. A little bit of Omnic Chaos on the point, but it's exactly what they need to find themselves this first point yet again. 60% though, not too bad for Requiem.
Yeah, you send in that Doomfist, gets that first pick on the Ashe, and it all unfolds from there. Gets out with the Meteor Strike. But it is a commitment of ultimates that we saw come out there for the side of the Backcap Bandits. They will have their support ultimates up, which is going to be very helpful against something like a Bob and a Rally on the other side. But it's still risky to have to throw them in both, so you want to hold on to at least one of them if possible.
Using your ultimates effectively has been so key in this meta in general, but starting out with the Bob, they're not getting that much value. It's a nice loop to get it further back, and it allows Mari the space to take down Bandit. Now they can start to push forward, use this Nano Reinhardt, take a ton of space, pick apart the backline with the Doomfist, and force Requiem back into spawn.
Yeah, now you've used both your support ultimates. You'll have like the similar thing you had last time, where you have that Bob, you have the Shatter, you have the Graviton close up. But we saw what happened last time. They go in with a Gravitic Flux with Sebs, Bandit pulls out the blade, and they just win. So if they can do that again, then this is going to be tough to defend against from Requiem.
Extremely. Requiem have the ability to move into this point with that Implication Matrix, but there is still one foil. It's going to the Bob from Maru, used in. It found massive value last time. This time it's going to find one. Can it find any more? It's the big question, because Backcap boys have committed so much to this, and Sinbad's coming in to clean up. They've done it 99%. All they have to do is take out this ball, and they set themselves up at a 1-0 lead for map 1.
Yeah, Backcap boys get that first point. Very nicely done. Shrine is theirs. But now we're going to go to something completely different. Whether it's Village or whether it's Sanctum, this exact same composition is going to be hard to pull off. So will that make a difference in the way these teams match up? That's what we're going to be seeing here. It's going to be Sanctum, and I think you can reasonably still run that Doomfist. You can punch people off the map. There's a lot of corners to hide behind. Definitely still a pick that that can work for you. But I am scared. I am a little bit worried about the same support potential. Looks like they will potentially go over to the Zenyatta Baptiste now. Zenyatta, of course, can play a lot safer on this map, being further away. And when a Genji doesn't have the ability to just hide behind walls to get to you, has to come from far away, you actually feel a lot safer playing that Omnic Monk on his home map.
Yeah, they keep the Doomfist as well. That's an interesting swap. A lot of the time, what the Genji does is it follows up on the damage of the Ashe. Now you don't have that follow-up. The Doomfist is looking for kills on his own, and the Ashe is also looking for kills on their own. So it doesn't exactly function the same way that the double shield normally would. Right now, all Backcap what they're trying to do is buy time for one of their two DPS to find a pick all on their own. Nice hold on the Sebs. It's plenty of damage to combo with the punch. Sinbad finds the opener. If they can take down Bandit here, this will be the point completely unlocked for them. But no, it's Maru traded out. Now Doomfist in backline. Sinbad is a monster on this man right now. Just his way for those cooldowns, try and get out with his life, and just barely will be able to do that. And with that, we're going to see Backcap boys start to gain a little bit more precedence over this point.
They do seem to be able to get just taken out. Requiem doing a great job of just taking them out one by one, winning the fight in the location that it mattered, not on the objective, but in that hallway on top. And now they will even have some ultimates to boot. Not that it's completely empty on the other side. The Backcap boys will have a Meteor Strike close to the Implication Matrix, but it's relatively barren other than that, so they might have to go in for a dry push or two.
I wouldn't mind it. Bandit, though, you can already tell the way he's looking at the team. He wants an aggressive blade. In he goes into the backline. The bash does not connect onto the Genji. That means he can close the gap. That means your Immortality Field is null and void. And the deflect straight back into Maru's face. A little bit of sauce for them chicken nuggets.
3 environmentals as well. Seb's getting credit for two of them. That's what you like to see from your Sigma. I don't know how that actually happened, but now they'll have a Gravitic Flux still, the Rally, Supercharger, even the Bob. And yes, the ultimates are going to start coming along on the other side, but they really need to start getting some work done if you're the Backcap boys. You cannot have another quick one like that. Let the fight be a bit longer, build up more resources, and draw them out.
Bob and Snipes this time looking to be just as big as those of Maru, but not finding all that much value. No, Sinbad goes down. This entire push will fall apart. Finally, Bob now out of the way, but Snipes is just in the back line here. This is a shooting gallery for this man. He has free reign over the HP bars of Backcap Boys, and Backcap Boys can't do anything about it. Sinbad cannot close the distance, however, he can take out Bandit. They've got a little bit of pressing, but Classy, they're running out of time.
They are 100% running out of time. You're 75% and counting. Last fight territory is what you call that one. But there are finally the kills coming through. They were able to dislodge that backline. They were able to dislodge them from that rotation on the background. And will just pick up this fight. Finally, if you're able to force away Bandit and Snipes, you're going to be in a great place here to take that point. That's exactly what they did. And now they'll still have some ultimates left. Snow, ATR, even Midben will have their ultimate very soon. And there's not a whole lot to work with on the other side.
We already know how important ultimates can be. We also know how important it is to group up as a team. Backcap Boys nearly get caught out for exactly that, but Sinbad comes in and saves the day. Bait the entire enemy team into the welcoming arms of a Doom Fist. Welcoming Fist, that is, and that is plenty of value to hold on for now.
Will be a fairly easy one to win it that way. You got that opening pick, of course, which is all important. And now they've only had to use that rally. So they'll have so much to work with the next fight. But so will Requiem. Requiem has almost a 6 ult bank built up. They can even lose one fight and then come back in because they really only need to win one.
It's only one they need to win, but winning that is a battle in and of itself. Backcap Boys have played so aggressively. Sinbad's in your back line pretty much constantly. He's got the meter strike to get himself out straight on top of the spire. Does he go for a little bit more? Absolutely. Double dips in for his food. Will get punished for it. Gets his hand in the cookie jar. Snipes takes him down, but that might just be the opening that Requiem need.
And so wisely as well, you're holding on to all those ultimates. Right? You know what? They're going to use at least 1 or 2 ultimates to hold on to another one. Then we'll have 6. We'll be able to go in. They're gambling everything on one fight, but that might just have been the best choice they've made.
Oh, let's start with the rally going in here. This is last fight territory, no matter which way it goes. Bob's gonna set the precedent, though. It's Omnic Warfare, 1 against 1, mano y mano, but it's Requiem taking it away off the back of a Bandito blade. Nemo's pull Snow off the ledge, and Backcap Boys have got to think about how quickly they can get back to this point.
And they'll still have a flux. Stebbs has just held on to that. Says, you know what? We already used 5 ultimates. We don't need a 6. We can just clean up this way. And they will be able to recontest this once more. But there's nothing in the bank. Backcap Boys have got to win this on pure mechanics and team play. There's no weird resources in ultimates that they can use. Only the abilities that have been given by the game.
If there's ever an ability I would want in this situation, it's the Gravitic Flux. And Seb's got it locked and loaded. Lands it down onto a couple members of the Backcap Boys who are then going to be facing down the dark doors of death. Patty Cakes falls, following, and Snipes still in this backline, completely uncontested on the Ash, has been ripping and tearing through Backcap Boys' health bars as Requiem even up the map score.
I can really see that. You know, that Ashe in the backline is so impactful if she gets the space to work with. And Bandit as well on the flank constantly with that Genji. So much damage just uncontested. So much damage just landing, taking out your health bar. And then not even Snipes and Bandit have to follow up on you. It can even be the tanks or the Baptiste or even, you know, the Brigitte if she's close enough. So it is very hard to dislodge them. And the one time they did, they were immediately able to hold on for a long time, were the Backcap Boys. But unfortunately, they only could do that once. And then there was a 6 ultimate bank, which was just impossible to fight against. Going over to Village now. Again, might see some swaps. And it looks like Sinbad's going to go for the Mei. We're finally seeing it.
It's no surprise here, but I love what Requiem are doing in response. Going for the spam. Snipes has been uncontested, has been popping off on the Ash. Throw Bandit on the Pharah, and you are in for a spam nightmare. Yes, Backcap Boys should be getting this initially, but that spam damage is going to be a real threat, Classy.
I still have to be convinced by a Pharah doing it on this map and actually working out. Usually you just don't get enough value. You don't build barrages quickly enough, and then it's hard to find the angles to get the kill because it's so telegraphed. And right now, this point presence of Backcap Boys is going to be hard to fight against with only that Pharah and the Ashes damage outside.
Pay a lot of attention to the shield positioning of Snow. He throws his shield backwards, and then Patty Cake is covering the other side. The McCree as well, holding away the Pharah just long enough that that shield cooldown is able to come back up. It's extremely hard for Bandit to find his way in, gets too greedy, and gets taken down by Maru. Now Backcap boys can feel a lot more comfortable about going in since there's so much less damage once those health bars get reset back up. Nice halt back though, will keep them in the point for the time being, but you can only run from this Reinhardt for so long.
And it's really that problem that Bandit's going to be having all game. They need to wait for a moment where they can fall down far enough to get value out of rockets and a barrage. And every time they do, it's going to be so telegraphed that Maru is going to be ready for it. Sinbad's going to be ready for it. The tank's going to be ready for it. They do get Maru now, but in the meantime, their entire team is falling. Bandit might be cleaning up here, though. It's still not over door.
Absolutely not. The Pharah still in the sky, and thus the point is still afoot. Baptiste forced out the immortality field. Good shooting here by Bandit. Get the signal onto the point. Now you have healing, you have the tank advantage, but the shatter hits the Pharah just barely not high enough, but will get taken out. The res through picks Bandit back up. Requiem, they're staring at a point take, and it should be just enough.
Nice kill there. You don't often see those kills on the Coach Con in that.
Yeah, a little bit of style.
And actually, with the murderous intent. Sometimes it's just they get the kill because they were running away. But this time it was just I'm gonna pull out the Coach Gun because otherwise I have to reload and I don't want to. But yeah, I mean Bandit finally gets a little bit of value, but I feel like that really wasn't up to the Pharah. She has the barrage now, and this is a great place to throw it in. Oh, there we go.
There's nothing to stop that barrage. There is still a chance for Backcap boys. You trade this out, you are feeling pretty good, but absolutely not. They go back, but they do go back ultimates in hand, Classy.
Yeah, they actually use anything? No, they didn't. They used nothing because the chatter was already down in that fight before. And that's, I think, 2 ultimates at least used there from Bandit and Racer. I don't know if the Bob came out as well, so that will be a heavy ultimate advantage here for the Backcap boys. And they're still up in percentage. They're not even down and out just yet.
No, but what they are is up in ultimates. They can feel very confident about pushing in here with ult. They take a page out of Requiem's book. Huge! Get onto the Blizzard. Maru picks up 2 with the Deadeye. And no amount of hungry Sigmas is going to save you from that one. Backcap boys find the point again and are looking at a map victory right about now, unless Requiem has something to say about it.
And immediately Bandit swapping over to the Genji, knows that it's so hard to retake this point with a Pharah. Already used the barrage, knows how long it took last time, so they want more accurate and quicker presence. But now that you don't have that spam, what are you really doing? This Genji is not as threatening as a Pharah with spamming into the objective, so there will be a much easier point hold now with the double barrier Mei.
And the Mei doesn't have Blizzard, most notably. So there is a chance here for Requiem. You have big ultimates. It's just a matter of getting in with the Davidic Flux goes in. The Shatter completely denied. Patty Kings, where on earth are you going, my man? That is the enemy backline. That is not where you want to be if you're your Reinhardt. Your team needs you right now, but you are not there. Requiem now gets to move forward without the threat of that hammer, without the threat of the damage, and now with the point cap.
That was a bit overzealous indeed from Patty Cakes. I think there was something coming on the backline, maybe like Bandit or Lilithy. I don't actually know who it was. That would probably have meant that the follow-up that was supposed to be there for Patty Cakes, the help that was supposed to come, never actually came, and Patty Cakes gets stunned out of the shatter and just taken out. Of course, a beautiful accretion as well, but that doesn't excuse the fact that there was no follow-up. That was just another reason for that.
This is a fantastic fight for Requiem to try and take away map 1. They have such a large ultimate advantage between the Bob, between this amplification matrix. It's going to be a real problem. Finds the first one on the Patty Cakes yet again. Dynamite. Oh my god, that could have been a scary one. Straight over top. Now switch for the backline right now, though. Bandit Knife have not quite done enough to win this fight outright just yet. Now, though, the Backcap boys not able to get in on time, and Requiem take away map 1.
Not able to backcap that one were the boys, but they, of course, have plenty of space to go, and it was such a close map. We've seen a lot of back and forth here, and a lot of the time, I don't think it's really up to one team making a great play. I think a lot of the time what we're seeing here is one of the teams actually making a mistake. And the biggest mistake in that last point was Patty Cakes walking out with a shatter. I think even if there was potential for follow-up, it was such a risky play because you leave the safety of that room. The wall wasn't even used from the Mei yet, and you still opt to go for such an aggressive play, trying to get something when they still have most of their cooldowns, like the Fortify, the Shield, the Accretion. That feels like forcing the issue, which you never really have to do in Overwatch. You can sometimes just wait, especially with a comp like that. So Requiem capitalizing on that mistake and never really lets go anymore in that last point.
I mean, it's insult to injury here, but I think Sinbad, you mentioned the wall. I think that wall actually came up and locked him out even with the shatter. Don't quote me
It's
on that. I
possible.
think I saw it, but either way, I think the
It's
performance was
hard, right?
way too aggressive there. Yeah, it's out of the corner of your eye. Either way, that
Yeah.
Reinhardt's going to die, and that's not a play that's going to be winning you your first map. However, I think it was a promising showing from the Backcap boys. They showed
Yeah.
a strong holding over the ultimate economy. They showed a strong idea of how to push without ultimates. And I think that's going to play for them very, very well moving on in the series because as we go into these more organized map types, something like the hybrid, something like the escort, where you need to play very clean in order to make it through the map, I think the double shield versus double shield matchup might be looking pretty good for them.
Yeah, and so far it's still hard to tell really how well it's gonna go because we haven't really seen a proper mirror match so far. We've seen the tanks
Mhm.
play different tanks. We've seen the supports be on different heroes, even the DPS be on different heroes. So really, there isn't much to say like this team is 100% better in this specific comp, right? Because they haven't mirrored it. But going to Rialto, that might also still not happen. There's different ways you can play it with the DPS being different, where you go for like an Echo, an Ashe, Genji, Pharah. You've seen in the last series, maybe even some Junkrat, some McCree, Widowmaker. There's even Hanzo is being played. There's a lot of options there. You could go with a dive, you can go with a double barrier, like you said. The support line is variable depending on what DPS and frontline you run. So it might just be that we don't see a mirror match on night and we gotta question which team is actually better on certain comps. But so far the standard double barrier has been seem to be a bit better from Requiem side.
Yeah, I
Whether that
feel like
will
they
carry
just
them through a victory.
they look
Yeah,
a little bit more comfortable in it. I think is the biggest thing.
sure.
Batcat boys seem like
Yeah.
they really, really want to run this Doomfist on Sinbad, and he plays the Doomfist exceptionally. Their halt combos with the
Hmm.
Doomfist are clearly extremely well practiced, but that doesn't kind of excuse the fact that now there's this hole in your composition that no one's really following up on these dynamites anymore. A lot of the
Hmm.
damage the Ashe is putting in is now kind of null and void. The harass on the backline is significantly less. It's harder for Sinbad to actually get in there versus the Genji, who can kind of dance around the entire time. There's a clear reason why Genji is being run with this composition, and Backcap Boys kind of put themselves at a disadvantage by not running it, but at an advantage by running a hero that Sinbad is extremely comfortable on.
Yeah, and if you're really comfortable on a Doomfist, and then you have to swap over to another hero that you're not comfortable with, but the team really wants you to play, like that May on Village there, or maybe something else we'll see in the rest of the series. Then you can really fall into that pit where, okay, but this is the comp we practiced, yeah, but that's not the hero I'm comfortable with, and that's always been a struggle within Overwatch where we've seen organized play, where you're saying, okay, so do we try and play as meta as possible, or do we try to play what we are actually good at? And this is really one of those levels advanced where that struggle really, really starts tearing teams apart. Where before that, it's there's also still a lot of that coordination coming into play, a lot of that mechanical skill that's not quite there yet. So this is really an advanced division where we start seeing those gaps fall, where teams are not quite agreeing into what they want to do sometimes.
Well, it seems like Backcat Boys have been the ones not wanting to run meta up until now. There's the Genji that we were talking about. It's Sinbad locking it in. And I think that is by far the player with the most to prove right about now. You haven't locked this Genji. It seems like it's been something you've been trying to avoid, especially when we went inside the Sanctum. Now that we're here on Rialto, you got to pick the Genji. You got to go for it. And I think he might be pretty good at it. Something tells me, something in my gut is just telling me Sinbad is about to show us a little something something on the Shimada.
Oh yeah, and Maru on the Tracer as well. Like they really want to go for this more aggressive style. Snipes though has been very comfortably backline sniping on Ashe, and I have no doubt it will be the same on Widowmaker. So can you even get close enough to start doing your damage if you are Sinbad or Maru?
Well, so it's two key hero spots that we're going to be watching. It literally is just the Genji versus the Widowmaker. If Sinbad can shut down snipes, you're looking at a much better match for Batcat Boys. Ladies and gents, though, it is currently Requiem up 1-0. Y'all are going to have to spam a few more maps, and Batcat Boys have got to be feeling it themselves. Already taking a good bit of space right now. You got to take control of high ground as well if you want to move past the corner. Snow, though, is really struggling. I want to see him be putting his shield through the opposing signals and start taking place. The playing a little bit too cautious right now. They need to play more aggressive to take this point, and they finally do. Takes down Sinbad, those snipes in the back line will get taken out by Maru. You're getting so much slow to just taking down that Widowmaker. Maru now has to make up for that lack of damage.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to be able to do so, though. Of course, we one damage dealer up. Now that will be 2 tanks fighting against the other front line. Bandit is looking for an angle here on that Genji. Is trying to get something done, but so far it's just been all Sinbad and Maru. Maru on the Tracer cam. That's what we like to see. I've missed the Tracer cam door. It's been a hot minute.
I mean, when there's a Widowmaker on the other side, it's either one person equips the Widow goggles or everybody's got them on. And when you have Maru and Sinbad in your back line, it's not a fun day to be Mr. Snipe over here. However, they do get a recontest, and with that, they also get an amplification matrix to the face. Backcap boys put in a ton of damage. Snipe takes the head right off of Patty Cake. Shoulders opens up the fight. We're trading main tanks left and right, but Snow's going back down onto the low ground and trying to shut down the Widow, not give Snipe any more sightlines. With that, they're going to be chucking in a lot of utility, just trying to edge this point over the feed.
Fire Blade. It's Bandit. But Bandit gets nothing. We'll just get bopped into the air by a accretion fall and then the follow-up. But yeah, it's like you were saying, right? Snipe is constantly under pressure by either a Tracer or a Genji. And that's really where it comes down to. Where Bandit might be trying to go for the backline, but Midben and ATR are perfectly capable of peeling for each other. And then it's Snipes that is such an open target for Sinbad and Maru. They can just double team that, go one by one, never let Snipes settle. And that's where Snipes now goes over to the McCree, but it's gonna stick with their supports and get the DPS that way. And we've seen it work. You know, Paris, 100% XC, you don't want to go up against that McCree. Can Snipes revel that performance?
Well, Snipes has proven his mettle on literally every single hero we see him on tonight. It's just a matter of execution now on the McCree. Pancakes under so much pressure. Not going to get taken out, but does have to give up a ton of space now. Requiem can look to move in. That McCree throwing in so much damage straight into the front line, but Sinbad's got a blade in the back line. Finds himself one, gets a second, and ATR is cleaning up a little bit more. Backcap boys are going to take it right off the back of Sinbad.
And it seems that Backcap boys have identified what it is that Requiem is trying to do. Because Requiem is thinking, after that Reinhardt play that Pancakes made on Village, maybe that's the weak link. Maybe Pancakes is the one to focus on. They did that very well in the past few fights, but it seems they've gone the wiser.
I feel like Razor's doing a fantastic job with his immortality as well, keeping him up with Maru down. This is something we have not seen happen. Can Backcap boys turn it around without their Tracer this time? It's a big question to be asking, but Mitben is showing up in the kill feed, putting out a ton of damage on the Brigitte. The supportal combat proven true in the end. A B found yet again. Second time tonight in the double shield matchup, Classy.
Yeah, we're just going all the way through it, going up to 0.3. Not quite the 5.5 minutes time bank we saw last series, but 4.5 still, nothing to scoff at. And they'll not go in it with a lot of ultimates. The defense is definitely in a favor there. Bandit, Snipes, Sebs close to their ultimates here. And that blade can be all impactful, but what are you going to do against that immortality field?
It's extremely hard to counter. Bandit's going to be coming in, and this thing is completely dry. You've got nothing to go with it. So that immortality field is potent. But Racer and Lilithy down. The Genji will play. Maru comes in. You know, forget the Genji playing. Sinbad was a distraction. It's all the Maru show right about now, isn't it, Classy?
It really is, and the Tracer are so good at cleaning up those targets once there's an opening being made. She can, of course, get into that position without really having to worry about anything, because they got the blink, they got the recall, and there we just see they tried to go for the pulse bomb, didn't quite land it.
Yeah, but now the contest is pretty powerful here from Requiem. They have the Gravitic Flux. Bandit has the blade, can find one. Can he find a second, though, to really seal this one out for him? Absolutely. It seems like that score's going to be going down with ATR now out. Backcap boys, you're going to have to reset without your main support.
Yeah, you're going to have to. 0.00 meters to go, apparently. But the game goes a bit further into detail, so the Backcap might not happen. That's the thing, though.
My God,
if they maybe you could have hidden someone and gone for the Backcap boys. You know, maybe that would have been the play. But they're not going to. 3 minutes on the clock. They're now building some ultimates of their own because they didn't have that many just around. It's now Sinbad, Maru, Snow, and Midben will be probably ready in the first 10 seconds of this fight, to 10 to 20. And then they'll have an overwhelming advantage as well from defense. Requiem is really going to fight one hard on this one.
Yeah, we gotta see Patty Cake put on the brakes for just a second here. Just enough so that they can get those ultimates. They're gonna start off with a rally, like you mentioned, from it then to get them in, charge up those ults. Now Pulse Bomb, stick onto the Orisa, finds Lilith for it. Blade's turn, Sinbad's in the kill feed, finds himself one, a second by Snow's Gravitic Flux, and it's all about the stall. Requiem doing everything they can to stop this point from reaching the end, but it is looking far from likely as Backcap boys find the end of Rialto.
They make it 2 minutes 12 on the clock. That's a nice time bank to work with. And like you said, it's been hard to complete Rialto lately, but it seems like these teams have no problem doing it. The momentum you can get with these more dive-oriented DPS, especially like the Genji, the Tracer, they can just keep on pushing with the tanks just backing them up. Supports on the cart, they were able to do stuff from range. It is so hard to stop when they finally get that first point cap, and especially if they get it in basically one fight, you're just gonna not be able to stop them until they get to third almost. It's very hard to do, and that's why we see these time banks happen. So when we flip it around, there's a very good possibility that Bandit and Snipes are going to be able to do the exact same thing and get a similar time bank on the clock with their team.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw Rialto push twice earlier, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it now. I mean, we talked about how easy it is to get stopped up with the double shield compositions around here, but absolutely not for a lot of these GitGud teams. They're having absolutely no problem reaching the end. I want to highlight, though, not just the DPS, the supports right now. Mitben and ATR, I feel like have actually been the real difference makers here. I feel like they're getting a good bit more value than Wraither and Lilithy. Lilithy is dying too early. Mitben is showing up in the kill feed all over the place. And ATR's invulnerability field timing has been perfection.
Yeah. That's really the difference maker between this map and what we saw on Nepal earlier, where it was really just patty cakes not being able to stay alive a lot of the time. They're still dying early sometimes in these fights, but you do see that there's so much more needed from Requiem to get through that front line. And that's all up to the supports, but also the patty cakes communicating with them. I think they're coming together a bit more. They're not as disconnected as before.
Requiem, they've locked in a Torbjorn, which is specifically to counter that Genji Tracer dive, but now the Tracer, surprise, surprise, it's not there. Maru's back on the Ash, which puts a little bit of a foil into your solution. Yes, Torbjorn can still do a fair bit of work, can still put in a fair bit of damage, but you don't have the same amount of high ground contest. You don't have the same amount of burst around those shields. Maru is going to be going to town right now, and unless Snipes can even up that damage, which, you know what, you're dead, you can't now, it's going to be a bit of a rough time for Requiem.
Beautiful dynamite throws as well from both Maru and Snipes, but it's Snipes that has to try and find these off angles. They have to try and find the opening to snipe through, whereas Maru just sniping into the choke. You can see already 50% ahead on that ult charge. Sinbad as well going up in that one. And yeah, you want to fight, but I think they're up in ult charge a bit more than they should be, considering it was relatively even for a while.
I mean, that was one fight. Now look at the difference in the ultimates here. This is ridiculous, Classy.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. It's just, you know, how are you so far ahead with only one fight? Like, you won the fight, but it usually doesn't mean you're that far ahead.
Yeah, this is a significant advantage for Backcap boys, and if they can budget it correctly, they can make this last a very, very long time. Already almost half the time off the clock here for Requiem, and then you start getting this push going here and now. Bandit swaps over to the Genji, while you're already pretty much lapped in ultimate charge. Sinbad's just waiting for the right opportunity, but Snipes taking down Maru. They'd better press that big Q button sooner rather than later. You need to win this fight. You're letting the opposing team use their application matrix and win this fight while you had the ultimate advantage.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're letting them win it or if they're trying to drag out ultimate so they keep having the ultimate advantage, because they already lost Maru early, and now they're just stalling out. They're stalling out time, they're stalling out resources because they don't need to use ultimates, and then they can still come back in. That being said, they didn't really drag that many ultimates out. Snipes used the buff, already almost got another one. Bandit, Nemo, Sebs, Lilithy, they'll all have their ultimates ready. This recontest will be rough regardless.
I don't think it's actually going to come through. No. That's the end of A. Backcap boys had such a big advantage. That was completely thrown away, Classy. They had such a big opportunity there. Now you're stuck in the middle of nowhere. Snipes gets to do exactly like his namesake says. Should be getting themselves healed up here, but they can still go aggressive. They have the ultimates now. It's Requiem in the driver's seat, and they are looking for kills.
Yeah, I mean, Backcap boys are looking for this high ground holder, so the second can be very strong. They didn't quite get in that position on time. They were still stuck in the upper house, and now they're under pressure from the Flux.
Oh, that is a big Flux. That finds 4. Slams him right back down, half HP. Backcap boys, doesn't matter to Sinbad though. He's in your back line, boys. Finds himself one. Can't clean up any more than that though. Snipes takes him down. Now it's Bandit's turn. How much can this man get? swinging and slicing and dicing his way through, making a little bit of Backcap Boys sashimi, but it is just going to be enough to continue Requiem through point B.
You know what I kind of want to talk about for a little bit? The way that Sigma players know that they can get stunned out of their Davidic Flux. So they're just like the epitome of cool guys don't look at explosions at this point. They literally they throw up in the air just like, I'm gonna go away because I don't want to get stunned, and then you hear them fall on the other side. Like, it does the motion still, but you don't see it happen. It's just it's so hilarious. But yeah, this defense is gonna come in. The Bob is already out, will not be stunned a little bit. But now they're going to try and do something. Sniped is already out of this, fell into the lake, and this will be a fight to remember if you can claw this back. Get the momentum back here. If you are the Backcap Boys, the Gravitic Flux is huge.
And that's exactly what they want to start. They knew they were coming in with the Sigma advantage. Sebs was still coming back from spawn. That was a perfect opportunity, and a great job by Backcap Boys recognizing that opportunity.
Very well done, and it's been recognitions of opportunities and openings and just mistakes from the enemy team so often this time around. You know, if Sebs is down, you have to play a little bit safer, but they still try to go for that aggressive push. They still try to go in there and get that cap. And now they're going to be further down. They're going to have to go across this bridge with the high ground hold now being there for the defense.
I love this positioning from Backcap Boys. It's going to be so hard to actually remove them from up here. You can't really spend the time to walk all the way across those stairs. Oh my god, this Sigma is so far away. This is going to take forever, Classy.
And it's not just a Sigma, it's the Baptiste as well. So they can easily break the shield while they're still going over the bridge and get a kill on that. The Bob gets thrown into the high ground. No, he didn't make it. He fell down below. He didn't quite get onto that gallery. And now they are going to jump down and try and get Bandit out of there. But this is a tricky one. Do you all drop down, or is it one or two members?
Well, they're looking right now for the Bongo Blade. Thinblade knows it's time. To the back line he goes, and that is a fully empowered Dragon Blade, but it's not going to be enough to keep you alive, is it? ATR comes in, cleans up, and the man has been putting in the damage on the Baptiste. Is going to continue to do so and allow them to take a fight.
There's a difference between a Super Blade and a Super Blade, and that was a Super Blade. So, not quite super as you want it to be. But hey, we will get a lot of ultimates still there for the attack. They'll have 5 up very shortly. Only the Bob missing, and on defense, Backcap Boys only coming with a Flux and a Rally. These are very powerful ultimates, and they're still in a great position on the high ground. But it's hard to just win a fight off of those ultimates when the enemy team has so much to work with.
MRS to regroup with the team as well. Tricky, but Snipes goes down early. That's not how you want to start this final fight. Oh, Sinbad, where are you going, bud? He's on a full flank here into the back line, searching for that Baptiste. You can take out the Baptiste, you can take the leg away from this push, make it not nearly as threatening. 30 seconds ticking down, though. This is not trivial for Requiem to even just get to this cart, Classy.
Requiem is definitely trying, but again, they still have ultimates in the bank. Now they're on the supercharger. The blade comes out. It's the super blade. Yeah, already gets the immortality field, but will get taken out before they can get a kill. And now we are in a traded territory. It's Bandit and Snipes versus Patty Cakes that have fallen. So not a lot of DPS left here for the attack, but they at least don't have a Ursa to walk into.
Yeah, Patty Cake this time not going to be the death of Backcap Boys. Overtime ticking down. It's not looking pretty for Requiem. Let's see if they can sing us a little song, though, before they go. This Tracer just needs to take down one of the supports in order to open things up. ATR or Mitben fall here, and the entire defense could crumble. Backcap Boys not quite in a perfect position, but they're making it work here off the back of Maru's Bob.
Finally, their numbers advantage just goes too far. The fact that they still have DPS remaining especially just comes into play. Because losing a main tank, yes, Patty Cake's that's a bit of trouble. But it's not an issue if the other team doesn't have DPS to completely overwhelm you with damage. Midben gets the play of the game. We know why. They were just completely swinging away. The WM1 Brigitte is still something that is to be feared, and Midben just shows it right here, right now. Didn't even need the rally for that one. Still have the overshield. And you can see it. 88% kill participation on the cards. Midben, what a beast on the break.
I mean, I said it earlier, and I don't feel any different after that second half of the match. I'm really feeling like it was the supports at the end of the day that pulled that one out for Backcap Boys. You guys can stop it with the maps. It seems like they have more than enough energy to continue with this one. They were playing significantly better than map 1, and we came into map 2 theorizing that Requiem was a far more comfortable team on double shield, but it really feels like Backcap Boys. Sinbad on that Genji, we pulled it into question, and he delivered.
Yeah, 100%. I really like the way that they adjusted because they didn't really adjust in how they played their tanks. I mean, a little bit with the supports, of course, but it was mostly that DPS play that completely turned everything around. However, we will give the teams a little bit of a breather, ourselves a little bit of a breather, and we'll see you guys after the break. Don't go anywhere because it's currently 1-1 and this series is far from over.
Big! Uprising Academy, they lay down the shutter, let the bodies hit the floor! Uprising Academy at 95%!
Right now with Hydra building up to this Vera barrage so quickly.
Oh!
And asking!
Double kill in the back with the pulse bomb from the high ground. Aerial assault with that mine.
Impact se escucha de abajo gritar campeón a Sky Foxes.
Holy cow.
And after 42 consecutive losses, the Shanghai Dragons get their first win.
8 teams enter this weekend.
Oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing?
We've got a clip with minimal information. It's time to break it down. Speed, 25%. Go. Figure out what this man's SR is.
Keep fighting till it's for sure lost. Winnable!
ladies and gentlemen, we promised you guys a short break, and you guys got it. We're back here. Backcap boys taking on Requiem. Score currently all tied up 1-1. Backcap boys, though, are going to be playing a little bit of defense as Requiem has chosen to take the map pick over onto Kings Row Classy. Got another little break, and we got to talk about what we thought about these teams. How are you feeling about Requiem, and how are you feeling about their map pick?
I mean, I think at this point we all know how I'm feeling about Kings Row as a map pick. I think it's uninspired and dry and bland, and you're not going to get any advantage out of it.
Like an
No,
art critic.
But in all serious though, it's like the map itself. I don't think it's a bad choice. I was talking about it, like you said, we were talking about it. I think you're going to have a lot of trouble running a Genji Tracer here because it's much more enclosed. It's easy to spot out. The flanks aren't as pronounced and as open, so it will be harder to get that done. But we saw before, they don't need to play the Tracer on the side of the Backcap boys. Maru just goes Ashe, and it's just the same story where they just win with that. So the Genji is just good right now. I don't think you have to sub out the Genji, but I do think that Maru, as I sort of predicted, will go on the defense onto that Ashe, and they'll just go for that standard meta composition. On defense, that's generally the way to go because it's the one that's works against the most type of other compositions. You're prepared for the most, you're prepared for what they can potentially come out with on the other side, and Requiem might not come out on the mirror, so we might again see something match up that isn't a mirror match, which is still going to make it very interesting to see which team is actually better at the mirror because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing them. They've got to be baiting us with this dive.
Maybe.
Baiting the Sigma, but with the Genji Widow, this has to be Snipes. All day. Snipes is playing well tonight, but we need to see him pop off if they want to win Kings Row. Maru has been putting up some serious numbers. So has Sinbad, so you need to unleash something upon this defense if you want to win it. And Requiem are unleashing them extremely aggressive. Leroy is exactly what I was thinking as well there. They can go in, they're going straight up aggression. Forget bringing your Ashe with you. It's in or nothing right now for them. Requiem, though, they haven't won any space. They haven't taken away this high ground. Right now, this is a fantastic fight for Backcap boys. They're just bound to get a pick first, but Bandit takes down Maru and opens things up, takes away a lot of the damage, and now Backcap boys, they're gonna struggle big time because now Snipes gets an off angle. Your wrist is gone. Patty Cake's running for his damn life. And with 3:17 on the clock, it feels like Requiem are just taking what was rightfully theirs.
And look who's still chilling on the high ground. It's snow, and snow's gonna fall. It's not winter, but, you know, that's still happening in the game. It will be fine at Kings Row. It's a very classic map. You see this happen a lot of the time. The teams go in, you see that split defense on the high ground. You somehow manage to get yourself into a position to take out either the ground force or the high ground force. And so far, it's been all Requiem. As I say that, naturally Maru gets a kill on Snipes, but it doesn't change the fact that this fight is still in a very big control here for Requiem.
Yeah, Requiem now with that big advantage, they can start to try and push it. Amplification Matrix is very aggressive. Patty Cakes, again, the first one to fall. This main tank cannot seem to keep himself out of spawn right now.
No, luckily they have Maru to back them up, so they don't really need to be alive as long as Maru keeps taking these shots. But honestly, with the Application Matrix was very predictable. Once again, Sigma walks away from the explosion, but does get a lot of value out of that, forces the Immortality field out, and they do get that kill on the Sinbad as a result.
I mean, this feels kind of inevitable. You lost Patty Cake early. You lost your main tank. Yes, Maru can trade it out, but there's only really so much you can do. You're just going to bleed out players after that one. I would have loved to see Backcap boys go in, die on cart, and get yourself out of there as fast as possible, because right now, this is free real estate for Requiem.
Yeah, they would have gone this space anyways, but what's most surprising to me is that the ultimate situation hasn't gotten out of hand. Both teams have still quite a bit to work with. It's mainly those support ults missing for the defense, and Patty Cake falls again.
Sinbad, I mean, he pops the blade. I don't know if anybody actually saw it because he died immediately. Requiem, though, they only popped 2 ultimates to win that fight. That was extremely efficient from them.
Yeah, exactly. They're still able to hold on to a few, but so does the defense, though. Like, Backcap boys, this is the point where you start pulling it back. Sinbad is going to play from a bit further away, but then Hanzo and Snipes is on the other side of the map. So you have a bit of room to work with and to push back.
Well, they'll start with the Leviticus Lux. That pushback, all of a sudden the push down, and Sigma is slammed onto the ground. Now Snow trying to get a little bit more aggressive, take all that space they can. They have a solid advantage. They just need to make sure not to use too much to get it.
They need to be conservative about these ultimates if they want to cycle through it on the defense, so they want to keep winning fights. Because 4 minutes 50, a long time to fight against this.
It's hard to block, but Bandit's blade looking even harder to block. Here comes in two with one swing. This guy doesn't do it. Snow falls in July, and Bandit reaches the end of the map. 4 minutes 30 on the clock. This is looking like an insane time, Classy.
It really is. The Backcap boys have got to come back out of this and actually get some kills. Sinbad, there's the Doomfist pick. It can work really well on this last point, but they need to dislodge snipes from this high ground because they're just free firing at this point.
It's so hard to remove snipes. You can take the snipe out of the team, but you can't take the team out of the snipe. There he goes. Finds two. Yet again, we said we needed a big performance from this guy, and he has absolutely provided us with that. Looking to clean up the map and clean up this push right now. The Ash that has propelled them all the way through Kings Road does it with 4 minutes remaining on the clock.
Yeah, so nicely done. I'm very, very curious what's going to happen on the other side, because it's essentially like we see Rialto again, but in reverse. So this time, of course, Requiem got to start, but the compositions aren't that different. So that begs the question, why all of a sudden is Requiem doing so well? And a big part of that is that, once again, Patty Cakes is being able to be focused a lot better. So ADR and Midben, and also Patty Cakes themselves, gotta start doing a better job of coordinating when they go aggressive and when they don't, where they're holding, where they're rotating to, what their timings are. And a big part of that is also, of course, Snow. The fact that Snow was playing on all these off angles all the time meant that Patty Cakes was a far easier target to assault. So that is what you do on King's Row. I get it. You want to get the damage on the Sigma, but maybe it might be worth to start trying to frontline a bit better as a duo instead of doing those off angle plays all the time when you're clearly getting overrun.
Well, I think Backcap boys have a lot to actually question about this, and they're gonna go with the aggressive option. I'm not sure how much I like this. Running into Requiem's double shield, they're gonna be set up on the high ground. This is hard space to close.
We don't know if they're gonna run it yet. We don't know if they're running it yet, right? Like, they're still in spawn. They can still scout it out and say, you know what, we're gonna come out with something else. We will see again, like we said, that defense, they'll just sort of the standard what everyone has been going to a lot of the time. And now on the attack, I mean, they're gonna obviously spot this out. Lucio's already looking mid-ben, will see that. But the rush is not necessarily a problem. If you can force them off that high ground and attack everything that comes down, you're gonna be in a very good spot to just win out that fight, do the quick rotation, and smack them with the Doomfist.
But I don't think they can actually force them off that high ground. That's the thing. The Reinhardt, the Zarya, nothing really reaches up there. You might be able to get a Doomfist in there, but Mario died very, very early. They've turned it around on the ground, though. Nemo drops down and is immediately punished. Way too big for his bridges. But Snipes is doing Snipe stuff. Takes down 1, 2, 3 as Patty Cake falls. And with that, we will see Requiem hold on off the back of their star DPS.
Very much so, and it looks like, I mean, you were saying, like, how are they going to force them off the high ground? And you made the classic Platchet mistake. Dor, you did it. You forgot about the objective. It's there, and you have to defend it, so someone's going to come down eventually. So they did get a free tick as a result. But it is true that it's hard to dislodge them and actually kill them when they're on the high ground. Yes.
And an early drop again from Requiem here puts Nemo in a very, very uncomfortable position. They need to start finding kills. They need to find them now. Steps trades one on Patty Cakes. And that's a big problem dealt with. Never mind. There's an even bigger problem dealt with. Snipes goes down. This is what Backcap need to take this point, and they'll do exactly that.
Very much so. Eventually, they'll clean this up. I think I'm a bit behind. Just letting you know, but we will of course continue now into the street space for Backcap boys. They're back into this one. 4 minutes 52 to start attacking here.
Yeah, there's a lot of time for them to actually be getting in with this. Not to mention the fact that Backcap boys have a fair number of ultimates come in with Requiem. They have 3 or 4 loaded up of their own. This next fight is going to tell us so much about how this ultimate economy goes. Look for the team that gets aggressive to find the most value, though. That Gravitic Flux from Sebs is especially what I'm keeping my eye on. Trying to get him in, trying to get this Gravitic Flux now before the brawl reaches you, but it's already here. Backcap boys get aggressive. Sinbad's got a blade, and they're progressing on through the streets phase.
Yeah, Backcap boys completely dominating that fight. Just only really that nano blade needed, but that's why you have the Ana. That's why they play that Ana, so they can get so much more value out of that blade. There will be so many ultimates online now, though, for Requiem. It seems almost inconceivable that they will not be able to hold on for this next fight, but we've seen it happen. We've seen huge shatters, meteor strikes, just early picks happen from the Backcap boys, and Maru's in position.
Well, he's in position for a Gravitic Flux. Up they go, down they go. It's the worst roller coaster ride you've ever been on, but Backcap boys are the ones riding it right about now. Goes to the back line. Bandit doesn't get anything with that blade. No utility, no nothing. Nemo will finally fall to the dash, but Snipes is still alive. Snipes is still popping heads, and Patty Cakes is very, very low HP.
Will be healed up though. It's ready. This fight is not over just yet. The Bandit tries to go for the back line, jumping up on that roof, but Patty Cakes with a charge hits nobody. And once again, the front line is left empty because Patty Cakes goes for a weird play. And it will just be the cleanup coming out here for Requiem. They'll clean this up. Sebs gets the last 2 kills. And that means they have to try again here. But they forced out a lot of ultimates. That's something they can take with them.
I mean, that was an extremely sloppy fight from both sides. Neither team was able to find those picks, but I think that's where Snipes kind of comes alive the most. When they're completely uncontested on the Ash, when those fights go long, that's when you see the heads start to roll. That's when you see the Backcap boys start to go. But Maru, the sneak attack punch pushes Snipes off the high ground into the welcoming arms of the rest of his team. The other man playing Sigma showing up big here. That's the opening they need. They will trade him out, however, but they've gotten plenty of space for it. Now we can see Patty Cakes healed up, getting enough space to go in, but no, Bandit's got a blade and plenty of other ideas. Cleans himself up 3 with 2:23 on the clock.
Oh, Sinbad still going for it with their own Blano Blade, though. Very low now, will get taken out, and that's finally the cleanup. But Requiem able to pull out those ultimates. Now there's nothing left for the Backcap boys. And they're close to a shatter and a sound barrier, but there are still 3 ultimates soon to be online for Requiem, and it seems like their map choice is starting to pay off.
It's not looking pretty right now, but Backcap boys still have plenty of time. 2 minutes on the clock is nothing to scoff at. All they got to do is try to finish this one with a little bit of time remaining. Requiem themselves, though, have a nice ultimate to try and stall here. Bob has been great for Snipes because it buys him so much time to start working on those HP bars, but Mario's coming in, breaking him down himself. Just needs to be able to finish something off. Because Doomfist hasn't been able to actually find kills on its own, only combo with the team. So now it's Bandit's turn to reach into that backline and pull out Maru. Start dealing the real DPS onto Patty Cakes, take out that main tank, and take out the core of this composition.
Yeah, 1 minute 20 on the clock. Even if they make it to this one, it's going to be so hard to actually get it to the end and then even get close to a time that they can actually work with for the next attack. So Sinbad, Patty Cakes, Snow, I mean, it's really, they're low on ultimates. They're finally swooping up a few heroes. Maru on the, now finally on the Ashe ATRs, on the Moira still mid-pen going over to that Brigitte. Snow on the Orisa has been something they've been trying, but it just feels like a little too late.
Yeah, I think too little too late is exactly how I'd put it right now. With a minute on the clock, you don't have ultimates, you don't have anything. And ultimates are so important for actually breaking double shield. Oh, this Reinhardt is going to struggle so much to get in. Yes, he's got a shatter on deck, but there's 2 shields in his way. This is extremely hard. And look at the positioning from Snipes. He's already rotated around. This is going to be extremely hard to get this Ashe out of your way. ATR is going to work though. Bandit goes down, getting way too big for his precision. No, hey-oh, he's on the ground. Off an accretion from Seb. That's what you're looking for. And vulnerability field is used by Racer though, and that is a big cooldown now gone. Now Backcap boys can push through with the Coalescence, with the damage, with the Reinhardt, and finally, Classy find the end of point B.
Finally, they're going to be able to do it, but they'll only get 1.5 minutes left. They need to complete the map with at least 1 or 0.1 second left if they want to even have another chance at an attack. So they need to rush through this last point, and Sinbad getting that pick on Bandit might actually help them out a little bit with that.
Yeah, he did have the blade that's going to allow them to at least get around this first corner, but again, they have to be aggressive. They have to win the fights now and here. Sinbad with the blade, holding it for the right opportunity, but what is the right opportunity? Find the Ashe, find a kill, and get in that backline, man. You have got to start fragging out, and here he comes, flashing and dashing his way on through. Finds himself one on the Widowmaker, a second one on to the ATR, and Bandit has put a stop to Backcap boys' push.
Yeah, it looks like they might actually be able to go through with this. They might be able to get there, but only 50 seconds left. And with Patty Cakes going down early again, it doesn't look like Requiem is going to let them even get close to that 3rd point. It looks like with that last fight, they'll get in overtime, so the best they would be able to do is a draw. and that's not what Backcap boys were signing on for.
No, and I feel like this may be another curse of the patty cake charge into the back line. It's not what they really needed right about then. Requiem though, health bars are a little bit low. The Bob comes in, it does manage to get behind the shields. Nemo has to use it early to get in, but Maru goes down. So much of the damage gone. Patty cakes can't connect with the shatter, and it's all falling apart for Backcap boys right now. You need to find a kill, and you need to find it now, but there's so much damage being thrown their way. Snipes is continuing on this Widowmaker. One pick, and it could all be over, but Mitben, it's starting to feel like a redo of Rialto. 2 seconds on the clock, the card approaching the end. They're playing for a draw right now, but they might just be able to get that much.
They might not be able to, but we will see them have to still clean this up. There's still these dive heroes around, still the possibility of environmental kills, still the possibility of getting booped off the cart and overtime ticket away. It's just spin to win here for Nemo, and the spin to win is sometimes powerful. It's going to be Sigma 9. No, it's not. The Moira and the both the 4 to 5 Urus are still there, and now they still have to clean up this fight. They're actually losing players. Mid-Ben and Snow go down. Sebs does get traded, but they have to cut enough members.
Oh, those health bars are so low.
Genji. It's just a Tracer versus the Genji. Can Simba do it? Oh, then Maru comes.
He's got to do it in time as well. 1 meter. They get it. Oh my God, Backcap boys. I'm not sure if it counts, but like, that's about as close as it gets.
It doesn't count. Do it back up. I mean, and then you think like they fought so hard, and now they have to hold the first point, the first 33.33% for 4 minutes.
That's, you know what? Especially when you say it that way, Classy, it doesn't feel good for Backcap boys.
Ew.
I'm not giving them great odds here, but honestly, they've shown they can pull out of a lot of stuff. That last push, they had absolutely no right winning with just the Genji alive. The Tracer came in at the last possible second. So Backcap boys have done the impossible before. I would love to be surprised again.
I really would. Is it going to be the Backcap boys coming back into this one on the streets of Kings Row? That is what it's all to play for. I mean, it's a grand finals. They're 1-1. If you go up 2-1 in the grand finals, that feels a lot better than going down 2-1. So the Backcap boys, I mean, maybe the Backcap boys is also just a euphemism for a reverse sweep, so they might just feel that one coming. But honestly, I would be happier if they could just draw this for them. Like, that would be what they would probably prefer.
Yeah, let's go to 6 maps, Classy. I'm feeling it. I
7,
honestly,
8,
I would not
9,
mind this
whatever.
series going the full distance right about now. Backcap boys, I mean, you absolutely don't want to be in that 2-1 down position.
No.
Getting game point first feels infinitely better for the
Maru
entire
on the
rest of the series.
McCree.
It's such a confidence boost. And now on the McCree here, Maru is not going to have the same amount of damage output as Snipes. Maybe their confidence is feeling a little bit down. But Bandit has a lot more space to work with right about now because they're poking from pretty far away, getting that ultimate charged up. It only takes one push right now from Requiem, and you can tell they're taking their sweet time doing it. Snow's getting aggressive, looking for a pick in the back line, and they're playing an off angle is greedy, but it's what Backcap boys need. You have to win this first fight, and with Nemo going down, that's what they're looking for. That's the opening they need. Bandit gets dropped low. No deflect means they need to back off. Requiem have no right holding on to the space right now.
No, they'll definitely have to back off and get back to spawn. Sinbad cleaning up a few kills, getting closer to that Dragon Blade charge, and they needed that because they were actually behind Bandit, still are. When you look at these ultimate charges, though, it doesn't really feel like either team has definitively won one of the fights. Like, they're fairly even, and even some are up on the side of Requiem. They're slightly behind in the tanks. I think that's the biggest difference.
Absolutely, and that could be a difference that is enough to take it. Snow getting that Gravitic Flux first could be the real difference maker. Halt into the creation, doesn't quite connect, both the Amplification Matrix out. Nemo sends himself into the abyss yet again. That is the second fight in a row. He has walked way too far and been punished for it, but this blade from Sinbad is almost definitely an overcommitment from Backcap boys.
I mean, maybe if you get all those kills, it still feels kind of worth it, maybe. But so far, you are not definitely down and out in ultimates. You both used your Amplification Matrix. Yes, you used the Blade, but you will have a supercharger that Nemo just doesn't have yet because they had the Patty Cakes effect where they kept dying early. So they're only on 55%.
That's a little... Patty Cakes had 2 rough maps, but you know, you're absolutely right. Running in and dying seems to be his specialty right about now. See what he can do in this fight. Eats the boss in the face, drop down to half HP. Gravitic Flux picks up everybody here. Backcap boys set up beautifully to hold on to this fight, but they don't have ultimates for the next Classy.
No, now they're really putting themselves in weird territory where you're like, oh, Sinbad, you're gonna have to charge that bait really quickly if you want to get another one, because Bandits got it ready. They got a Gravitic Flux. They have plenty. They're even gonna have a Super Blade and their Rally. So they'll be completely capable of forcing out the Immortality Field and just winning the fight. They only need 33.3. So one of those, we're gonna give them a tick and go recontest. It's not even possible.
Perfect Immortality Field timing is going to be needed here from ATR, and it comes out at a little bit too early. The slicing and dicing is going to be just enough. Those health bars go down low. Backcap boys are running out of resources, and Requiem set themselves up at a 2-1 lead and take away match point.
Honestly, considering the circumstances, I think that was actually perfectly timed Immortality Field. They use it as the Blade and the Gravitic Flux come out. If anything, it was kind of Requiem making the mistake of putting them out at the same time. But, luckily speaking, Requiem eventually still wins that fight, for them at least, luckily. So they go up 2-1 in this series, but still, only with like 1 minute on the clock left, that was quite a hold there that was still coming out. Imagine if they'd done that on their first defense. But of course, no ifs, no buts, no coconuts, and we will go to a map 4 with a 2-1 lead for Requiem, which is going to be our Assault map. We haven't seen Assault yet tonight, and Assault can sometimes be the bane of the existence of certain teams. Will that be the case for the Backcap boys? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it'll be the case for Requiem. All we can do is go to the map and find out.
I really like Assault for Backcap boys, actually. I think with the flexibility of roster that they have, with the number of heroes that Sinbad seems to be able to play, with the comfortability that Maru has shown, with Patty Cakes being willing to play the Reinhardt, I don't suspect they might even have something a little bit interesting in their back pocket to try and pick for this map. What do you think?
I mean, I think that if you're going to Assault, more divey composition, especially like Genji Tracer stuff, is so much more possible and so much more likely to be seen than it was on King's Row. So I don't think it actually matters which Assault map they go to. I would say Volskaya would probably be a bit better for them because it's so open and you have like a lot of these flank routes that you can do. But so that's still the same case for Hanamura. I think that also really works well for Tracer. I'd say Anubis is the one where you would doubt most where you could go for something like that. But we've seen so much dive and flexibility on that map anyways that whatever map they go to, it's just should be the one they've played the most. And it looks like their preference is for Hanamura, the hometown of Genji, where he wants to take revenge on his brother. And if Sinbad's going to do it anywhere, probably going to be there, have to be there.
Well, you say Sinbad's got to do it. I think Maru. Maru wasn't showing up all that much in King's Row. We were talking about him all the time in the previous map. He was playing his butt off. He was taking heads off shoulders, making bodies drop, but completely quiet in King's Row. Completely. I'm not sure I remember even saying his name. And for someone playing on the hit stand, we've got to see more from him, and especially when you're playing up against someone like Snipes. It's a high bar, and it's a lot to hold somebody to. But this is grand finals. You have to be on your game every single map.
I think they did okay on the McCree of the defense. They were just up against a lot in that case. But I definitely think that was a good swap. That they got a lot of value out of that. Actually got a kill with the Deadeye at some in all of that, which is a hard thing to do in this day and age with double barrier and deflects and everything. So Maru did great in the Tracer, was doing okay on the Ashe on Rialto, but not really on King's Row. Then went to the McCree and did great. So there might be a trend there where we say, Maru, just go with the McCree instead of the Ashe. It's working for you. You're getting kills with that. You're doing damage with it. And you seem to be more accurate and consistent with it. So then we get into again, we get back to that debate we had about Sinbad before. Do you go with what's meta or do you go with what you are good on? And going on to Hanamura now, that's really going to be a question that's going to have to be asked again. Do they start on the McCree on the defense in the second round or not? All we know is that we're going to have to wait for that at least 4 minutes, maybe more, because we're going to see the defense come out first for Requiem, which means the Backcap boys got to start with that attack.
Hear me out, Classy. This is just me calling it. It's me calling it.
All right. Okay.
Think with Ash Torb. I would not mind an Ash Torb the least bit. I think the Tracer from Maru is an option there. It's a threat. Ash Torb is especially strong here on Hanamura, but what is this?
It's not Ash Torb. Yeah, you were 50% correct. But I think with that Ash Torb, you weren't expecting a Mercy, so I'm going to count that as a minus. So you were wrong. Yeah, it's going to be Ash Farah with the Pharmacy indeed, with the Baptiste and the double barrier. The double barrier is the one you should always predict, Door, because I think on a defense, you're just going to be safe. So like that's color caster 101 for you. No, it's gonna be gonna be great here. The attack though is still a bit up in the air. They might actually go for this. I would love to see them go for the Symmetra play because I don't think they're gonna be ready for that. And the Pharah will see a lot less value if they do that.
Yeah, Bandit's actually going to really struggle against this teleporter. I don't think we can stress how much so. It's the exact same point. Let's go all the way back in this series. All the way back to the
early.
Village. When Bandit was playing the same Pharah. Could not take this team down quick enough to stop them from taking that point. How is he supposed to do the same thing? It's like the exact same point, Classy.
Yeah, there's a little more of space in the air above the point, but it's not that much better. So, indeed, how are they going to do it this time? And so far, no one's died, but a lot of damage is going back and forth, and Sebs is on the brink of dying.
This time there isn't an Orisa in their way, but there is a Symmetra fully charged up, dealing a ton of damage. Taken low, taken out, and Classy. History repeats itself. The Pharah can't hold on the square points, man.
Back. Oh, sorry. we were having some fun in the. All right, we're gonna do it, but it will be a very quick take. And when you look at the ultimates, you're like, yeah, a fight's barely actually erupted. We have Maru very close to the wall. ATR's got their application matrix. Bandit will have the barrage. That's the only reason I feel like they're staying on the Pharah, because otherwise it's a very hard pick to work with. Sure, there's no hit scan, but still you need to find that value, and can they do it versus those adaptable shields?
Well, I love the route they're taking here, actually. Pushing the signal off the high ground, even if you get halted off there, that's perfectly fine. Now they just need to focus on closing this distance. They're going to have all their cooldowns to do it. Bandit drops the barrage in the back line that gets shut down, but does manage to take down Maru right on his way out with the help of Snipe, doing a ton of damage on this off angle. And it is right now that I want to see Backcap boys switch up this composition.
And I don't know how they actually managed to not kill Bandit at all before they got Maru. Seb's is gonna get frozen here, and she's like, "Hi, I'm May. I do things with ice. It's a cute gimmick." But we will see the ultimates online for both teams still. Like, not much was used there. ATR barely got the amplification matrix out. Though Snow didn't get much closer to the gravitic flux, but almost everybody else has got their ultimates. Bandit swapping off to the Doomfist now, and I don't know, like. There's plenty of ultimates for both teams, so this could go either way, and it's all about the way they choose to approach, and it looks like they just want to go straight to the high ground again. But this time above the points!
Oh, this is a beautiful push straight on the high ground. They're going to be able to drop. They've got the wall to cower with. It basically hand delivers the Blizzard into the back line of Requiem, who can do nothing about it. Maru's fully charged. He's got the turrets up on point. Backcap boys are back all right. Let's see, Classy. They finished this one in 4 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock. What a beautiful push.
I gotta say, you gotta see it coming. They're called the Backcap boys. Of course, they're gonna teleport to the back of the point to cap it. It's so logical.
It was in their name, Requiem. How did you miss it?
It was right there. There's a reason why they're called that. No, but honestly, it's good to see teams use that Symmetra to such an effect. And they use the teleport to get up there, throw the wall out, so there's not a lot of things that the enemy can do against it. And then that Blizzard, like you said, hand delivered into their spawn, where they think, this is where we're safe, guys. We're gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. But no, nothing could be further from the truth. That Symmetra teleporter just puts you in such interesting positions and such awkward positions as the defenders. And if you can pull that off as the attack, if you can pull yourself into an advantageous position versus a defending team on assault, that is something that only Symmetra can really do. She's the only one that can allow you to take a position that you have no right to be taken. And yeah, Symmetra shot on point A we're familiar with. That went well, but on point B we don't see it enough, and I love seeing it here.
So this is a new competition. We got to talk about this real quick. We don't have that much time, Classy, but let's dig into this Junkrat.
It's Junkrat. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. It's just Junkrat. I know you're not, but we've seen it quite a few times in the past months of different teams in like tier 2, tier 3, not tier 2 as much, a little bit from Avoided, of course, who are just the wacky doodles in that scene, but tier 3 as well. You know, Trials, just a bit in the OD scene. There's been a few teams that are running it, so I know that it can work on Hanamura traditionally, especially because you've got that small choke. It's the only thing you can get through, and if all your shields are already gone before you get there because of the Junkrat, it can be pretty annoying to push in here, so to speak.
Yeah, it's more so the fact that they're playing it with this Reinhardt. The Reinhardt wants to go in, it wants to brawl, but the Junkrat wants time to poke. He's had plenty of time, though. They took their sweet time getting through that choke, but Maru's gonna follow the dynamite of Snipes. Now Patty Cake has to do the brunt of the work, get through these HP bars, and chunk some people out. Finally, Nemo goes down, and that is the release that Requiem needed to finally back off.
It's exactly why they're playing the Reinhardt. They're going for the extra burst on that Reinhardt hammer. So you throw in the hammer and the nade, and that usually ends up to like almost or a full kill. And with the shields almost always being broken, Reinhardt doesn't have to do the shield wars as much. So that's why you can actually play him. And that's why Snow is so comfortable on the high ground.
Not a good pick,
Bandit
though.
taking out Maru though. That's a problem.
That is absolutely a problem. You cut that damage right in half. Luckily, they have a Junkrat, so there still is plenty of damage to be had. It's a matter of landing it, though. Keeping your Reinhardt up. Patty Cake does his signature charge. This time it lands, though. It feels like the first time in forever, but there's so much damage on the other end. Bandit is showing up all over the kill feed on the Genji.
Yeah.
And finally, point A is cracked open.
Honestly, that's just Bandit getting 3 kills without being contested once. Like, without Bandit getting that opening pick and then those subsequent picks on the ATR especially, there's no way they get in that easily, because that didn't look like a lot of effort. And you can see it back in the ult charge. You can see that the defense is still going to have more ultimates than Requiem is going to have on their attack. More or about as much, but their overall ult charge seems to be better. And now they're pushing into this high ground. And what is really good at blowing things up in a small corridor? That's right, it's a Riptire.
It's a big question mark, though. It has to land. Sinbad knows what he's got lined up. Gravitic Flux to start things off. They're in that small room. Immortality Field was used. There's nothing to stop this Riptire when it comes through. He's got a 25-second grace period that he can just press Q whenever, and here it comes into the back line. Shooting at it, but he dodged in and weaving and bobbing and ducking through the back line. Not able to keep it alive, though. So many members now headed the way of Snow on the Sigma. His high ground is not as valuable as they might have thought it was, though the Bob comboed with the Shatter should be enough to end this one. That is so much damage being thrown in the team, but players are not quite falling yet, Classy.
No, it's there's still a few left, and they're gonna go find their way to the objective with Orisa. And it's gonna be Snipes running away with the tail between their legs. That fight started off questionable, right? Because Sinbad waited so long to use that tire that by the time they actually did, everyone on the side of Requiem had just backed off. Like, okay, gonna wait until the tire comes, shoot it, and then we go in. It's exactly what happened, but unfortunately, they still had a Gravitic Flux, so Snow could just end that fight before it started. Now we'll have Sinbad finally choose the hero they're gonna stick on for a bit. It's gonna be the Torbjorn, and that off-angle threat is always great to have. Nice sleep guard onto the Bob as well.
Well, it sleeps the Bob on point, but the Bob got the point. And I think that's the entire point, is to add pressure. Force Backcap boys to drop on like they don't want to. Now we see Patty get completely separated away from his other tank, and there's no help for him. The Shatter lands, but it's not nearly enough. Snipes has free sightlines, and we know, Classy, we know exactly what happens when he's got those.
Exactly. Good Gravitic Flux, though, and with that Doomfist coming back in, this could be a threat here. Sinbad tries to get some work here, and if we get the follow-up onto Nemo, Lilithy goes down as well. This fight is not over just yet, and the attackers might be losing too many players.
They're bleeding out slowly, but that is absolutely too much when you're on the attack. You've got to take more players. They found the gap, though. They found the opening. 2 minutes on the clock. Not quite as fast, but Requiem, they end up finding the end of Hanamura.
And of course, with both teams capping in over 2 minutes, it means that one of the team's time will go down to 2 minutes, and the other team will lose as much as the other team did.
Initiating match.
Whew. Classy, it's been a long series. It's been a long series. Requiem, though, they got game point. They're looking to lock things up here. I want to see them take 2 points if they're going to take this map right now. I think with 2 minutes, they have enough time. They know what they did wrong. They know what they did right. I think it's time they clean that play up and they try and take this one home. Backcap boys can obviously do the same thing, but I think this entire match is going to be decided off the back of whether or not Requiem are able to successfully pull off this attack.
Yeah, we're going to see the same defense almost come out here, but it's going to be Sinbad on the Torbjorn this time. They're going to start with that straight away, not with the Junkrat. Even though the Junkrat, I feel, wasn't necessarily the problem, they just want to throw another wrench in the plans of Requiem here, I feel like. They just need to keep switching things, and switching things is, it seems like something like, oh, they're not sure what they want to do, but you can also see it in a way where you say, we're just keeping on their toes, right? You keep them guessing always, and that's a very nice way to look at it, because if you expect them to do one thing and do another, then you need at least like 30 seconds to adjust to that.
And this is going to be
Oh,
a
no.
little bit of time off the clock.
Symmetra,
Oh,
they're
boy,
doing
this is
it.
a
They're going to do
swap
it
up
against
from Requiem.
them.
Backcap boys are being given a little bit of their own medicine, but do they realize? I think they've spotted out the Symmetra. They're already back onto the point. This is a great position for them to be in. They were much better prepared for it than Requiem were for them. Nemo's already down to low HP, and you can tell, not exactly warmed up on the Reinhardt. Looks a little lost on the point right now, if I'm being completely honest. Gets taken down immediately. Mara's putting in the damage. So is Patty Cakes. Now he's on the mirror matchup that he really wanted. Ryan versus Ryan on point, and Sinbad on the Torbjorn is going to be giving them so much damage. Finally falls with the Patty Cake. He wants to brawl, and he wants to brawl right now.
Double kill.
But off the map! Down go Lilith the Incept!
Oh, minute 10 left, and you're not going to try the Symmetra strat again. You have to go with the tried and true. You'll have your support ultimates, but no tank ults, no DPS ults, and guess what's online on the other side? It's going to be a Gravitic Flux. That's hard to run into, especially with that Implication Matrix as well. You'll have one of your own with the rally, but that will not be enough to sustain if they get the Immortality field out.
The Torbjorn is so dangerous as well because the Molten Core can shut down the point in overtime. That will stop you from getting anywhere near. Gravitic Flux comes out, and you said it was dangerous. They need to be able to follow up on the damage, but it's Snipe taking out Mitben and Maru. Only when they need it most does this guy show up. Requiem have opened up the point. It's still dangerous though. This Molten Core is on the horizon.
Molten Core could be shutting everything down by the positioning. Bandit incredibly low here on the Genji, anti-nated, but will get out, and Sinbad goes down before the Molten Core can take fruition. First point looks to be in the hands of Requiem, and they will have 34 seconds, something like that, to cap point B. Not a lot of time, not a lot of ultimates, but they have a Gravitic Flux and a Dream.
I mean, we could think about maybe the Molten Core being used there, but I don't think it's worth it. I absolutely love the choice to hold on to your ultimates, stop this push here, now. 30 seconds, done, over with. You have ultimate advantage. It's okay to give up point A. You took it very readily last time. Now you need to stop Requiem here, or else that 2-cap is looking a lot scarier than it used to. Requiem now getting aggressive to take down the turret. It's all about positioning, all about getting Bandit in where he needs to be, but he's not there to follow up on the Gravitic Flux. There's significantly less damage. His Molten Core is used aggressively. He's trying to drop a little bit of it on the point, make sure they can't exactly walk in for free. Patty Cake is doing his signature charge, but it doesn't matter because the rest of his team is finding kills. While he's at it, overtime ticks down, and Backcap boys have just got to get a little bit more than Requiem were managing to.
You thought, oh, we have a Gravitic Flux, they don't have a Baptiste, that's going to be a free Flux, right? Well, you're wrong, because Rally and Nano boost. So, especially Patty Cake just gets Nano, jumps down on your team, full hot Nano, where you're trying to follow up on a Flux, and just smacks your team in the face. Nothing you can do against that. 3 minutes 13, though. It is quite a decent amount of time, but they used more than that to capture both points last time. True, that was a lot of stall, so in overtime they might still get the second point, at least the first tick, but they still need to get through, and I think running the Symmetra strat again will probably be sussed out. I don't think that it might not be effective again, because you might not expect it the first time, but you're sure as heck gonna expect it the second time and be ready for it. And we saw how that worked out. The Symmetra strat didn't work because Backcap boys are ready for it. They play it themselves. So are they going to be intelligent enough to say we're not going to run it again because we know they're expecting it, or are they going to try it regardless but just try it in a different way? Because different execution can sometimes make a big difference.
Well, execution is the one thing they have, I'd say, to their advantage, but are they even going to run the sim? Do they just go full brawl here?
Oh no, they are.
Okay.
They
And that
are.
makes-
They're going to
Wait,
do it.
Nemo. Oh, he's
Why
just
is
going for
Nemo
the-
there?
It's just
What's he
right,
going to
it's just
do?
right.
Yeah, but you know,
From a different angle than we're used to
he's
seeing.
not
it, so I
that
think it's
far.
good stuff.
He's so far forward. No, he'll have no charge to charge straight into the teleporter when it comes out though. Like that's the cooldown won't be back, so that's maybe an advantage here.
It's a
Nice dynamite.
Teleport. Good. Yeah, I totally agree. Huge dynamite there. Buys them time. Where's that the wall? Patty Cakes, dude. I tried to give him a little bit of slack earlier by not letting you call it his signature move, but it's starting to feel like it, isn't it?
It is. It is the signature move. We just call it doing a patty cakes. Only in this series, though. We won't keep bullying you after this one. It's just for one time only, you know? But we will still see this fight go heavily to the favor, of course, of Requiem. They were ready for that Symmetra strat. We were worried about it, saying, why would you do the same thing again if they know you're running it? But it looks like that's just the only trick they have on this map so far, because they're not swapping off.
Well, this pony's gonna have to learn a couple more right now. They've got this amplification matrix. I actually like if they would move in here a little more passively, try and use this amplification matrix to find a pick, and I think they should be doing that. Yes, ATR drops that straight onto the point, forces down the shield, and this is gonna burn down away at Nemo. As long as the shadow doesn't land from Requiem, Backcap boys are in a fantastic position right now. It's a matter of ending it early, but the shadow does land! It puts Patty Cakes on the ground, it forces out the immortality field, and now there's a Reinhardt in your backline you gotta deal with. But the damage is there. Mitben's clutching it out like he always does in the Brigitte, and Sinbad is freezing people up left and right. It's a winter wonderland for Backcap boys as they get their shot at point B and maybe even a map 5.
This is going to be at least a draw, so we're going to a map 5 regardless of what happens. But it will be indeed an ultimate advantage coming out here for the attack. It looks like, at least. It's close. You know, it's closer to call than saying, oh, they just have an ultimate advantage, because it's going to be a lot about execution, not necessarily about the numbers. They're just going to teleport out to point again. Which angle will they choose this time? They'll have the wall, they'll have the blizzard, but what is their angle?
Well, both teams have the blizzard, which is the real interesting part about this push, right? You have a minute 34, and I want to see them go fast, actually. I want to see them eat this blizzard as quickly as possible. Go in, dry fight. The second you see that blizzard go out, that is the most powerful ultimate on the other side of the field. But right now, you're allowing Backcap boys to charge uphill, because you're allowing Backcap boys to go in. Nice wall by Sinbad. Saved the entire team. I believe it might even save them an immortality field. 1 minute on the clock, though. The timer slowly ticking down in the background. In Backcap boys, you need to get this. It's now or never. The rally from Midben. He's going into it what he does best, but nice charge on the Patty Cakes is what they needed to open things up. Take the main tank out of the way and stop this push from Backcap boys, who now only have a shatter to end this one.
Yeah, it's a shatter versus a shatter, though. That's what's gonna come down to. Patty Cakes, don't die early. Win the Rhine 1v1. It's the one you wanted, and this is the time where you gotta do it. You only need 33.3%. You don't even need to get that full cap where you need that decisive team fight. You just need to get them off the objective long enough. That's all you need. It's like 6 seconds maybe or something. It's not a long time.
Hear me out. 5 people on high ground, Backcap on the point. Maybe they live up to it.
Maybe.
Again. It's highly unlikely right now. Patty Cakes is the man to watch. I mean, I'll say it. His charge and shatter lost in the first map. He has to make up for that. He's got to find it in this one. 10 seconds ticking down. His shield is well going down. This is not feeling
they're going for snipes.
And make this distance difficult. That timer's shutting down though. 3 seconds. 2, 1. Do they get the touch, Leslie? No, they don't.
Oh no! Just, I think that's a moment of silence. Patty Cakes can't play the game, but I think that's a hollow victory. Yeah, you can see the nano, like it's a nano boost, right? He jumps down with a hammer and just smacks him to the face, but. Can we just stop doing it, guys? This. Oh no.
All right, classy. All right, classy. We got 5. We got at least 5 here. And that's what, you know what? Backcap boys probably going into that. That's all they wanted. Although probably not in this manner. They got their 5th map on the board. And I believe next is control, if I'm not.
It has to be, yeah, because map 5, you know, map 5 is control. If you're good at 2 game modes, let one of them be control. I don't know. I don't know how.
We're heading into uncharted territory at that point.
It's great. Hey, look, it's a finals game, right? Like we're prepared to go the distance, and it doesn't matter that it's how late it is. Doesn't matter how hungry someone is. Doesn't matter how thirsty someone is. If you're doing a grand finals, you're there for the long haul. You gotta be prepared. So we're going into Lijiang next. Gonna be indeed map 5. And map 5 might not be the decider. You know, if Backcap boys are managing to win this, if they don't pull the Patty Cakes, hint, hint, maybe they'll actually be able to do it. But the thing is, Lijiang is far more friendly to divey, off-angle, Pharah, Genji, Tracer compositions, as long as it's not control center, than Nepal was. I think Nepal is really one of those maps where, yes, it seems like a lot is viable, but playing more divey compositions, especially Tracer Genji, can be very tricky. So going to Lijiang, where that's more prevalent, especially on a map like Gardens, this might be the control point, the control map in general that Backcap boys can win. Where the last one they barely lost, this one feels more in their favor.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the 2 out of 3 maps right now. I think number one, Backcap boys want to avoid Night Market. I think that is the map that by far
Yeah.
Requiem have the best chance on. Bandit's been playing far. Their double shield has been insanely good, but the other two are very good for them. You send it to Control Center,
Yeah.
all of a sudden we're seeing that Junkrat again, which can be very, very, very good on
Doomfist as
Control
well.
Center. Something that
Yeah.
we've seen come to fruition. The Reinhardt can be played on Control Center, although you don't have to if you're running that Junkrat. And then on top of that, you go on to Gardens, you can switch it up, run a little bit of dive, run that Genji Tracer, and that is a fantastic map for them. Either way, this map 5 is a really, really, really good pick from the team with their backs against the wall.
Guess which map we didn't want for Backcap boys, and guess which one they get. It is Night Market, but that being said, I think if you can play a good Genji Tracer, you might still be able to do enough against that backline and against the DPS and even against the tanks to really stop them from getting enough value. We know that pharmacy can work here. We know that it's possible, but it's still relatively difficult to get the angles from the side. It's still relatively difficult to fight against long sidelines, but we will see potentially them pulling it out. And of course, the Echo. Bandit's teasing it in spawn right now, but it's not an odd choice. If you don't want to run the Mercy, you kind of have to go with the Echo because the Pharah on her own is so much easier to shoot down.
You know, it's usually one of the teams locks into the Symmetra, and then one of the teams that absolutely just refuses to play it and then goes for the full spam. This is looking like an attempted spam into spam, whereas the Echo doesn't offer as much spam. I think it actually might win this matchup just a little bit. Sinbad's Pharah has not been proven tonight. We have not really gotten to see it.
I would really say that it's all going to be about what Maru is able to do against Snipes, because if Snipes is just able to free fire at Sinbad or ATR, it's going to go down hard.
Somebody just have mercy. Snipes,
well,
they've got families, man. Here's Maru, though. Okay, he can trade this back. I believe he's done it before. Finds himself one. Can he find any more is the big question. He at least has evened up the numbers a little bit. You can already see Snipes up pre-aiming towards the spawn. They know exactly what's coming. Sinbad dropped low. You don't want to be in the realm of that focusing team right about now, but Bandit doesn't have the space to work with either. Right now, it's playing out like this Metro composition. It's going to be hard to remove Backcap boys from this point, even if they don't have a Baptiste.
Yeah, they take out Bandit as well, so that off-angle pressure is not going to be as strong with just an Ashe. And Maru has been doing such a good job. Actually been trading back and forth, and that means that with the Tracer on the ground war, they just have so much more pressure if Bandit doesn't get any shots in.
And this is such an awkward mirror matchup right now. I thought the Echo was going to do well, and the Pharah is doing okay, but Sinbad's playing very, very turtly on point. He's effectively just playing ground Pharah, spamming through the choke. And he's more than happy to. He's winning the shield battle for them right now, and that has been more than enough. Eddie now has the Shatter loaded up. Nitben's got the Valkyrie to get him in, and it lands on both the tanks. And their life. Snipes goes down. There goes your clutch player. Sinbad falls with them, but this fight definitely in favor of Backcap boys right now, as Maru is still in that back line.
Yeah, he said in the first fight, please have mercy, but they have a mercy. The rest comes in. Sinbad with a barrage just picks up one, and they keep trading numbers. They don't even need to win the fight. They just need to not lose it. And that's what they're doing.
Bandit, though, that's the second Shatter they've got. They don't get the swing to finish off the Orisa, though, and that should be enough for Backcap boys. No, they're bleeding out players. They lost the Baptiste, they lost the healing, but it was all after 70%.
And that's what it was, right? They weren't winning the fight, but they were, most importantly, not losing it. And Midben on the Mercy has been so good, because in that first fight, ATR goes down before anything even happens, and they're still able to win it off the back of just sustain through the Mercy and the shields. And people underestimate Mercy a lot. They're like, oh, you know, it's Mercy, you know, the only thing she's good for is boxing DPS now and then. But you can see how the power sometimes just comes into play. Now that they have to retake, though, they'll go to the Genji Tracer and the Brigitte Baptiste.
Love this choice from them right now. I want to see Sinbad pop off. Half HP, though, doesn't make it as likely. You pop up those heroes, you lose the ultimate charge. Right now, it's Requiem in charge of the economy, but Maru is doing Maru things. Patty Cake 2 with the charge. That's what he's looking for. The Reinhardt all of a sudden can't go too far back because it's Requiem with their backs against the wall.
Who said you needed ultimates to win a fight, right? No, they definitely had, they definitely still had the supercharger, of course, and the patty cakes with a nice Reinhardt play. Now Nemo feels the need to change over to the Reinhardt of their own. It's a last fight territory for them. Bandit is close to the duplicate. Maybe they can get another beautiful Reinhardt play out with that one. But so far, it has been a relatively quiet Echo game.
Oh, that pull!
Oh, it's gone. It's gone.
But it forced that immortality field. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is a key cooldown. Now Nemo does not have patty cake. Where are you going? One to get traded out. You know what? That's better than from Nemo's gonna fall in trade, and right now this is looking great for Backcap Boys. Snow is still up. They've got a spare main tank, but so do Requiem. The duplicate goes down. They pick up themselves a second. Orisa drop a bongo for about a quarter of a second, but Sinbad's got a blade to counter. Just needs to take this Echo the Moth out of the sky, and he will have locked up the first point of Lijiang for Backcap Boys.
Now we're finally trying to get that definition of what pulling a patty cakes is changed, because this time it worked. Their aggressive plays on control, paying off, paying dividends, and that is what we want to see. We don't like saying that if you're pulling a patty cakes, you're just dying early stupidly. We don't like saying it, but hopefully it gets you to change your play style or change the execution a bit so you can do this patty cakes. We love to see these things, and you probably didn't even hear us say it, but you know, you felt the presence in your mind. You're like, oh, they're talking about me again, aren't they? Oh no, I gotta change something here. But going to Control Center, we said that this is a map that we like Backcap Boys on, especially if they can pull that Junkrat out. But what will they on the other side? Will it be a Mei? Will they stick with the Symmetra? Most likely not, but they at least using it to get out of spawn quickly. Oh, they're sticking with it. Snipes is still on it, so that means it's going to be Symmetra Mei.
So I'm very worried for patty cakes right now. A notably aggressive Reinhardt now playing into a singular Mei without one of his own. Symmetra's forcing him back. You can tell this guy just wants to press the shift button so badly right now.
You
but his
really
team
can
won't let
tell.
him. Sinbad finds one in the back line though. That's the opening they needed. No Brigitte means the Reinhardt can start to move in a lot more freely. Yes, you can't exactly walk up to that high ground, but you can easily hold the rest of this point without the threat of all that.
I love it as well, because Requiem is looking at patty cakes like, oh yes, we know this Reinhardt. They're gonna charge it at some point. We get an easy kill and then we win the fight. In the meantime, Sinbad and Maru are just walking around the outside with their supports and with Snow. And it's just patty cakes looking at the front line, keeping all those 6 pairs of eyes locked at them. And it's just the DPS on the other side that just bop them from the right side, just from the downstairs, from the points. And now they're gonna chokehold with a Junkrat, and that's scary.
Oh, well, patty cakes, chokehold. It's gonna be Sinbad with the tire. Chad more like finds 2 with it. Gets traded out. Though it's an even fight right now for Requiem. It's definitely not a Maru. You knew what you were walking into, bud. That is not a mistake you're making right now in the grand finals. Requiem come in and they're gonna take it just at 40%.
The McCree swap literally carries that fight. Stuns out patty cakes so they can get the kill. Stuns out Maru so they can get the kill. Yes, the double kill on the tire was beautiful, but the spawns were closer. And honestly, right now, what are you gonna do to adapt to this? Because the McCree is good against the Junkrat and good against the Reaper, and stuns out your Reinhardt. It's a tough ask to adapt to that quickly.
Yeah, I would have loved to see them actually try and take the high ground spamming with the Junkrat, but they're getting aggressive. They throw down the amplification matrix, which is gonna be very helpful to Sinbad's damage. We're working down this shield, but Snipe. And oh, patty cakes the Snipe with the fire strike. Takes down the McCree. The big difference maker you mentioned, now it has to be Bandit, but he only gets one with the blade. There's so much more damage right now for Backcap Boys. There's still a charge for patty cakes. Nemo, all he can do is hold shield and cower while the wrath of the Backcap Boys heads his way.
Nemo's Shatter was so much better, though. Just gets the follow-up as well. That's all you need, patty cakes. You need follow-up from your team, but it's not going to be the problem here. There was so much going on in that fight, and right now, with the ultimates that are left, this is looking like a pretty good point for Requiem. And I was kind of thinking that. You were saying like, oh yeah, with the Junkrat and everything, they're going to be good. But so far, when it's been more of enclosed maps, where it's more about the tank matchups, it has seemed to be that Requiem comes out on top.
And now they've got the Orisa on the high ground. This is a beautiful move by Requiem and perfect positioning. Perfect positioning. This cannot get any better. The McCree now has a shield, and I don't know what to be more scared of. Snipe with a shield or patty cakes right now with the shift on cooldown. Look for the right opportunity to go in. He's got a little bit of problems though. He still can't get away from that McCree. He can't go in like he wants to. Backcap has put themselves up. This Death Blossom finds one, but it's not going to be any more. That patty case finally press shift, but doesn't get anything off it. Sinbad trades one with this Rip Tire, but doesn't get that much after. No! The mine connects, hits Lilithy in the follow-up. Their Backcap Boys can finally capitalize. on what they've been trying to do this whole time.
Yeah, Backcap boys, they did a very smart thing where they had Sinbad throwing mines and nades from the outside up to the high ground. Maru eventually teleports up, and they're able to force that Arista hold just off the high ground, take that over, get the Death Blossom on the McCree. That's the only kill they really wanted, and now they're chokeholding again with that spam, but it's Sinbad going down early.
That was a deflect from Bandit. Oh my god, 3-in-1 swipe?
Yeah.
That
Good
hurt to
shatter.
look at.
I mean, it was just like a shatter with some follow-up, and then one slice is just usually enough to just finish that off. But it will be, once again, the point 1-1. Last map, potentially, unless Backcap boys win, and then we go to a map 6. But the Backcap boys, now we're going to the point which I think should be their best one. It's open. There's a lot of potential for, like, going around wherever you are, wherever you want. And I really don't know what they're going to do on the other side. If they're going to try and mirror this, or if they're going to maybe stick with the McCree, go back to the Pharah, we'll go to an Echo. Looks like Snipes is going to stick on the McCree. Nemo is indeed on that Reinhardt with Sebs on the Orisa. And now we see the dive come out. It's patty cakes and snow on the Winston and the Wrecking Ball. And this is what we've been waiting for. We've seen the run to Tracer Genji. How much more dangerous are they going to be with the dive tanks to back them up as well?
Everything, and I mean everything, comes down to this first fight. If Dive takes the point, they will control it and bring it all the way up to 99, just on staggers alone. They've been doing it this entire game.
They're already on it, but they're already on it. They're not really giving it space.
If Requiem can take the space, though, they're in a beautiful position. Nice stun on Amaru. Can't quite finish him off, but he doesn't have rewind anymore, and he gets taken down. The star player now no longer is. This knife nearly goes off the edge of a map off a nice boop, but there has not been a trade kill yet. Snow is under so much pressure by the McCree, just barely getting it out by the skin of his teeth. The damage now headed for his main take. Patty Cake's under so much pressure, but the point not quite ticked yet. Requiem slowly edging their way to the victory on this fight.
Finally, the burst is just too much for the dive to sustain through. They were doing so well, but Maru, that has been so pivotal in his DPS matchup, just couldn't stay alive throughout that McCree barrage. And yeah, that just means that they might have to change something, but it looks like they at least want to try one more time because they've got a few ultimates coming close.
Well, it's going to be their only real shot at getting in with this dive conflict, because when you swap, all those ultimates go down the drain. Even if they use them here, they're going to be at a disadvantage in the following fight. It's got to be this one, or else they're staring at pretty much 50%. But they're knockoff on a Snipes. There goes the star player. Bandit trades one back on Amaru. That is a massive opening. Dive wants to pick this team apart. Bandit, though, is doing the exact same thing. Finds himself, too. Huge sleep, though, by ATR. Give them the opening they need. The Nano Blade in from Sinbad, and it's finding even more value. Backcap looks to turn this one around with a dive, and this is what they needed. They take the point. They can contest this for so long, Classy.
They could, but they haven't taken it quite yet. Maru is still getting follow-ups, but there's also dive heroes on the other side. So that means this stall can come out equally from them, and the time is ticking up all the time.
50%. This is even winnable for Requiem right now. If Bandit can find the value on this Genji, he takes down Maru. One more, and you're staring at something that's winnable. The Frisbee goes down to the point. We get the main tank back. Seb's going to be taking a nice little catnap off onto the side, though. And with enough damage, Backcap boys, they should be able to do this. This should be their fight. They knock Snipes off the map for the second goddamn time. But is it enough? They come in, and Bandit is still doing Bandit thing. Maru connects with a pulse bomb. The numbers are waiting right now for Requiem, but the Wrecking Ball is still there. Finally taken out. Finally, Backcap boys take over guard.
And now you got to look at what happened in that entire fight. And the big thing is that Backcap boys don't need to swap anything to go for fights like that. They're still on their dive. But on the other side, they had to swap over Nemo to the Wrecking Ball. He's now reset on the Reinhardt ult charge. Now, you have plenty of time to build a shatter up, but it's still something worth keeping in mind.
Well, Bandit's got other plans. Here comes his late 78 HP and a dream to his name, though. Only going to be getting one. Could get zapped down. Gets another, though, with a swipe at the last second. Snow throws him on his backline, though, and they've got nowhere to go but right on into them. And this is about to look like the previous fight we saw. The dives are both coming back on the point. The contest is going to be damn near infinite right now. And as long as one of the players from Backcap Boys is alive, they will be gaining percentage on this point.
It's so hard to win that 1v1 against the Tracer, but Nemo is doing it anyways. And now, like you said, the dive can come back in quicker, but they might have harder time finishing off. As I say that, of course, they managed to get the kills and clean up that fight. But it's still numbers that they're missing right now.
Oh my goodness, guys, this is as close as it gets. Map 5.
Yeah.
And we might
We're
even
here.
see a 50 after this. It's
We're
been
in
a
it.
long night for both these teams. Backcap boys, backs still pushed all the way up against the ropes. There is nothing they can do but win this map to try and keep it going. Maru with the pulse bomb, though, doesn't connect. No! Forces out the immortality field, though. That is so key going into the rest of this. Now this team is a lot more vulnerable to the dive. Even though they don't have that many ultimates, they do have the nano boost that can go down onto the monkey. No, gets taken out early. Lose a lot of tank. What a sleep! Oh, to the backline. Snipes has not been having a good time. They have shut him down left, right, and center. Maru comes in for the cleanup. Backcap boys, 88%. This is last fight territory classic, and they have set themselves up to try and send them to a map 6.
96% and counting. We're almost there. It's going to be a map 6. I have no doubt about it in my mind. Bandit tries to come back in, but it's the lone Genji. Now the Reinhardt comes in. The Shatter is actually pretty good, but there's no follow-up. Unfortunately, this will look like a backcap. Backcap for the Backcap boys. Not happening this time around, Requiem. You're not going to be able to sing their Song of Death this time around. It will be a map 6, and now it's a 2-2 Grand Finals, Advanced Division of GGNA Season 5, and they're going all the gosh darn way.
This is, when they talk about the distance, this is the distance. We have watched the Backcap boys grow up. It is now Backcap boys to men, and they are feeling themselves. You have got to be assuming they are screaming in the comms. These guys are going nuts, and so are Requiem. This is as close as a match can possibly get. I have no predictions anymore. These teams have shown us everything. It is all out on the table. This is the culmination of everything we have seen today, and it comes down to a single game of Overwatch.
And I mean, I think I still have an oxygen tank somewhere. I might go grab this after. It will be and like, this was already so close. We're going to, I don't know if we're going to like escort again or we do another control. I actually don't know the map order because, like we said, we're like in uncharted territory here where we really are just not sure what's going to happen. I feel like we just have to go into Oasis, but we'll see. Let's take a very quick break in order to get everyone's breath, because after that it's just, it's obviously insane. So we'll see you guys on the other side. Get a little bit of water, get some snacks maybe, because you might have been hungry staring at this game in like for 5 years. So don't worry about it. We'll be right back. See you on the other side.
and gents, map 6, God knows how long later. It's literally the morning for Classy right now. We have been here for so long, but it ends here on
Yeah.
Oasis. Backcap boys, Requiem. The team that has come through clutch after clutch after clutch versus Requiem, the team that just seems indomitable on the double shield. I don't know what more we can say about this matchup, Classy. We have seen everything these teams have to offer. So much of it comes down to how long can you last and how many more clutch plays can you pull out.
Yeah, lights on, game on. That's my mood right now. It's gonna be great. Sun's up, shields up. I don't know. Like, gonna make more puns? Probably not. Let's not even try. Let's go into the game. Let the game do the talking. And what I'm looking forward to is which point do we get first? Because we were talking about it in the break. You know, we were saying like, okay, university. That's like interesting, right? Because we are sort of debating why village and control center both went to Requiem, and then maybe university falls in that same category. But city center is a garden stage, is a shrine stage. It's open, it's diveable. You can play Maru on the Tracer, Sinbad on the Genji. You can do whatever you really want. You can play that dive, stall forever, right? And then Gardens is really that in-between map where both of the strats kind of work. You can play the double berry, you can play something more divey, and it's really up to the teams how they really show up and what they actually play on those points. But starting on city center, I think we both feel that this should be a map that's very favorable towards the Backcap boys.
It should be. Oh my God, is Requiem actually opting into the dive?
It might
They
be.
still have more to show us, Classy.
They do. Snipes on the Tracer especially is going to be the question mark, right? Can they face up against the barrage that Maru has been playing up on the Tracer? Maru might actually go into the Sombra on this one, which is another thing we have not seen them play yet, which would be amazing if we can see some good EMPs and hacks come out. That can just decide to dive all on its own. You hack a target, the target is dead because there's no Baptiste on the other side.
They're playing with fire right now. I'll tell you who's playing with fire though. ATR. This Ana is a very juicy target right now for Requiem, who've gone in. Oh my God, the anti-nade hits everybody though. Backcap boys can follow up on the damage. They can take this one. Requiem goes down early and Patty Cakes has all the follow-up in the world off the back of ATR. I said it was a risky pick. I take that back. It was guaranteed. The second that anti-nade landed, it was over for Requiem.
I don't know if you've seen ATR hit the sleep darts on the Genjis and the McCrees. Like, they've been shutting down DPS all day long. So if you say ATR is risky on the Ana, I say, oh, it's risky to play against ATR on the Ana. But that anti-nade opened everything up. And there's a reason why the anti-nade is purple. It's actually because it's just like a bruise. It's super painful and it's very annoying. It doesn't necessarily kill you, but they just need that one extra push and you'll fall over. So that's exactly what ATR is providing right now, and they're already 70% to the Nano. This is all about how much value they'll get out of the Ana.
They have the blade from Sinbad as well. That could be huge. Racer gets hacked, and now a lot of damage being thrown the way of the Brigitte. Can they finish off this kill? It's a big question, though. Rally out from Mitben. Has the follow-up. The shield bash kills. Mitben again in the kill feed. How many triple kills is this Brigitte gonna get?
I think one more, maybe? I don't know. Like, I'll check what their quota is for the day. Yeah, I think they just got nothing in scrims and they just have to fulfill their quota for the day or something. That's probably what's going to happen right now. But we will have an EMP almost ready for Maru, and it doesn't matter even how many ultimates there are going to be online for Requiem. It's not many, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really matter because if the EMP comes out, they're not going to be able to use any. And even if the EMP doesn't kill them, just throw out the Blade, the Primal Rage, the Minefield, just to done something with the Nano Boost. It doesn't even matter who you throw it on at this point. It's just an overwhelming advantage, and they've already got 60% on the point as well.
Oh, Maru, you are so close to getting found, dude. They don't know. The hack could land on the wrist. No, he's been caught out. Okay, Banana Boost is in, but so is Sinbad. There's the Blade that we expect to come out in what a nice set of ultimates used. It took 3. Yes, you used Snow's Mines, but it definitely could have been worse. They still have EMP.
Yeah, and it's one fight. All they have to do is not let Requiem ult. They only have a Coalescence and a Blade. That's literally all they have. It's not a great combo in itself, and you can shut both of those down by just hacking the Genji while he's blading and EMPing the Moira as soon as you use Coalescence. Ultimate's gone, and you just win the fight on the back of that. Already a nice anti-nade on Nemo to start it off.
ATR's very low though on this Ana. He gets taken out. Now there's no main heals for Backcap boys. The help they're working with is the help they got, and that's all they need right now. Sinbad takes down 2, looking for more right now, trying to set themselves up at match point, but there's other things to be said from Requiem. DPS Sniping Bandit trade out 2 more here. Ben poking away, trying to get any sort of kill across the point. But remember, Backcap boys, they can contest this for so long, Classy.
They don't really need to. They're already at 99%. But if they feel like it's winnable, then yes, they can contest until, well, God Kingdom come. Really, it's it's gonna be a long one here. Maru is still alive on the Sombra. Will keep on touching and coming back in. Oh, it will not maybe go down very low. No, gets to their Brigitte. The rally comes out, and they just make it back. The sustain, the toe touches all around. It's impossible to get this dive removed. You really need to kill them all at once. And Lindsay has been so poor on this Moira, consistently taken out when they want to do anything. ATR even on the Lucio fragging, and this is the first point in convincing fashion going over to the side of the Backcap boys.
That I think that might have been the most dominant victory on any map we have seen tonight.
Yeah,
and obviously a lot of it came down to the fact that Requiem just cannot meet the dive of Backcap boys. I think if they came out in the double shield wrapped around the far side of the point, tried to play the stairwell, they probably stand a lot better odds. But the second they put themselves at that ultimate disadvantage, it was over. New map though, Classy. What are we walking into here?
Oh, I'm really curious what they're going to be doing here on the side of Backcap boys. Yeah, okay, so they do go with that Reinhardt in the end. I was already wondering, like, Winston, interesting, but we will see the complete meta setup on the other side. The double barrier, Ashe, Genji, with that Baptiste and the Brigitte. Of course, you can get some range and high ground here, but if you're playing against potentially a Sombra Doomfist combo, that high ground is very dangerous. It can just boop you up if they want to. Sinbad is forced off, though, by the long-range Genji.
And already Backcap boys take precedence, but ATR goes down. Oh my god, Sinbad takes no prisoners, shoves Bandit right into a wall. Patty Cakes goes down to the coin flip player. Yet again, lands on tails there, and that's going to make him fail. Requiem gets the point first.
Yeah, that was actually not even a coin flip. Nemo just sprayed it beautifully. They just pulled the tanks of Backcap boys into the hole in the middle of the map. That meant that ATR was completely open. They could just walk up to him and kill the Ana. So going into these next fights, the ult advantage is obviously slightly in the favor of Requiem here, but not even that largely. Just 1/2 fight and it's almost even again.
And Maru is on a Sombra, which is an interesting.
They want to get
Bandit. You should not have been able to find that pick. That was way too much. Now Patty Cakes gets to go into the hold again. In the low ground though, there's effectively a 2-man advantage. Patty Cakes trying to get back as quickly as he possible. Mitben without their tanks is going to fall. So will Sinbad. This is not looking good. Maru can find Snipe. Takes out the key player. Now Reinhardt can play. Patty Cakes 1 swing, 2 kills. Point looking like it's headed over to Backcap boys.
The fact that they get the Baptiste and Racer there, that is what really wins in the fight. Sure, both the DPS skills from Maru, getting both Bandit and Snipes in the same fight with essentially the exact same play. You gotta think they're sort of more the wiser now. They know Maru's gonna do that, but Maru's been building quick EMPs. He's got it up already, will be ready for this next fight, and this rally might sustain you for a bit, but after that, you're just gonna get hacked.
Say it with me. Say it with me. EMP shatter inbound right about now. Oh my god. Maru goes down! Oh my god, Snipes! You monster. Takes down 2 following. Requiem take the point. At least, Backcap boys get to hold on to their ultimates there, but that was not good.
I don't even know if I want to blame Snipes for that. I actually just think I'm just gonna blame you because you just went full on. I'm gonna predict that this is gonna happen and I'm gonna curse it. You know, that's what happened. It's not a problem though. There's plenty of ultimates left in the bank and the EMP can still shut everything down. But with 6 ultimates coming up and 4 on the other side, 3 on the other side, you should be winning this fight regardless.
Yep, EMP shatters in the immortality field. It's only gonna do so much. Seven gets pulled down in here, and that might actually save his life. The Sigma not long for Sinbad falls. In Requiem, they're still alive post shatter. Backcap boys, they've used everything for this, and they're still not gonna get it.
It's so strange because I think Seps fell down with them into the hole, and they didn't finish off the Sigma that was alone in the hole with a few
He
DPS.
landed on the mega health pack.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he's in there with 3 members, and they don't choose to finish off the Sigma first. 90% and counting though. This felt like a point that should maybe go into the favor of Requiem, so we're not at all surprised that they get this, but there's still a chance.
It's not over yet. Bob's in, Griddick Flux up. They've got the rally. Mitben could come up with 3 yet again. Sinbad's got a blade and has something to say. Can he finish off this immortality field though? Take out at least the Brigitte, absolutely. Finds off one, but Nemo's still alive. The main tank's still a problem. The main tank falling though. Patty Cakes goes by the wayside. This Reinhardt has been unable to do anything here on University. And it's going to be Requiem tying up map 6. 1-1, Classy. It doesn't get any better than this.
It's kind of like we got the exact order of maps that we wanted. It was either University City Center Gardens or it was City Center University Gardens. Gardens is the last map, feels like the pinnacle of you can both play what you want and it will both work nicely with the map geometry and the way the map is laid out. And it's, again, a lot of this will be down to who wins that first fight. And that's just such a tough one to call. Patty Cakes and Snow back on their Winston Wrecking Ball. This is looking like a repeat of what we saw on Gardens. And I don't know, like on Garden for Li Jiang. And I don't know how I feel about that matchup. I think it's very exciting, but I do know that it's going to be very hard for them to come back into this if they lose that first fight.
Yeah, this is a terrifying proposition. You are going all in on your dive, which it's good. It's good. Is it exactly what you need to win Get Good Season 5, though? Good. Backcap boys, they think it is. Patty Cakes goes down early, though, and Requiem with their signature double shield are coming out, and everything's turning up golds for him right about now. Find another pick on Amaru in this first point tick. You said it was important. It goes away of Requiem.
And how often have we uttered the phrase Patty Cakes goes down first? It's not what you want to see every single time, and it's just going to be so much harder to get back in now. Yes, you have the mobility, you have the off angles, but you need a lot of time to build up these ultimates, to cycle through your cooldowns with that dive. It will be potentially the last point you're playing GGNA, and you do want to win that.
And win, I mean, of course they want to win it, Classy. Patty Cakes, though, comes in, finally gets himself a little bit of ultimate charge. Snow trying to do the exact same thing. Harasses backline, take out Bandit, one at a time. You can take down this Requiem roster. You're about 90% through to that point six, forcing them off. It might even take over here. Liberty has to try and get some sort of contested, with Snipes is doing it when they need him. Finds 2 on the Ashe. Nemo dropping extremely low, but the ultimates are coming up for Backcap boys. They have the Primal Rage online, but they can't get the touch in. ATR can't afford the peak. Backcap boys are falling down. 40% goes over on the point, and Requiem are holding strong, Classy.
They are holding strong, but they're not really holding on comfortably. They're constantly looking at all different directions, which is exactly what the Backcap boys want. All they need now is to find that tiniest opening and finish off a few targets, because they come so close to finishing off a player like Snipes. We've seen them be very close to taking out Racer and Lilithy, and every single time there's just a tiny point aspect missing that manages to not get the kill. Whether it's a missed shuriken, one missed like pulse pistol shot, it's very close. There again.
Immortality feels out though. Bandit's coming to the blade. Sinbad versus Bandit. Who's finding more? It's a big question. 2 kills go each way with the help from the Bob. Snipes finds the third though. Gravitic Flux from Zebs can help heal for the backline as well. The DPS dropping low. 80% taking over on the point. It's last fight territory for Backcap boys. You've come this far. Don't make it for nothing.
Neither team has anything to work with. The closest is Racer with 55% on an application matrix. This will be as vanilla as fights get, with positional advantage for the defending Requiem.
Oh, but they've already lost Mitben. They go down to Lucio Snipes. Oh, he's looking to end this series all on his lonesome. Taking off heads left and right. The Doomfist of Sinbad we saw in map 1. It's making a return all the way in map 6. Can it find any value is the massive question, though. Absolutely not. The Dynamite's huge over top. Overtime's ticking down. Mitben can only but contest as overtime ticks over. Requiem are going to be your Get Good NA Season 5 Advanced Champions.
Oh, what a series. I was so worried for that last point as well, because Snipes got booped off the map on Gardens on Li Jiang so often, got so pressured down on a lot of these points, and finally they get a map where they have high ground, they can walk around, they can dodge everything, immortality fields can help them out, and Snipes make it happen. They cannot shut down the Ashe. It's impeccable work from them, and I'm so excited if we're gonna see more of them in the future, because Snipes, what a beast.
I mean, the guy, he clutched out when they needed him. He came up massive every single map. I think everything past map 1, they came in and turned it around. And I have to give the biggest of props to Backcap boys. That was
So close.
probably the hardest series they're gonna play in their entire lives. It's grand
Probably.
finals.
Yeah.
It's morning for you, Classy. This is late. Plus, remember, they came off of another match before this. That was not by any means an easy game. And I know we hit hard on some of the players there. We put a lot of pressure on them, but they just barely weren't able to make it.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. At that point, we just say like, you know what? If you can't take the heat, stay out of Overwatch. No, that's unfair. But
That's
definitely,
too much, dude.
that's too much. I'm
You can't
sorry.
say
I'm
that to
sorry.
these guys.
You know what? It's morning. I'm suffering too. Okay, no, it's all good. We will though come back with an interview with one of the players of Requiem very shortly. We'll throw to a quick break so we can get everything sorted and get them in the channel, and then we'll bring you the voice of victory. Who it's going to be, we don't know yet, but we're very excited to bring you that one. So don't go anywhere. Stick with us for that all-important champions interview.
Big! Uprising Academy, they lay down the shatter, let the bodies hit the floor. Uprising Academy at 95%.
Right now with Hydra building up to this Vera barrage so quickly.
Oh!
And asking!
Double kill in the back with the pulse bomb from the high ground. Aerial assault with that mine.
Impact se escucha de baja gritar campeón a Sky Foxes.
Holy cow.
And after 42 consecutive losses, the Shanghai Dragons get their first win.
8 teams enter this weekend.
Oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing?
We got a clip with minimal information. It's time to break it down. Speed, 25%. Go. Figure out what this man's SR is.
Keep fighting till it's for sure lost. Winnable!
literally everybody in this call is tired right now, but everybody is also ready for this interview. We got locked and loaded. Ladies and gents, we've got Sebs and Lilithy from the winner's side of the previous game. My God. It was a long one. It was hard fought. We're already being told about the levels of screaming that were going on in their comms. Lilithy, tell us a little bit about what it was like to be inside of that voice call.
Oh, it was hectic. We're a very passionate team, I think is the way you would say it. But I mean, as you can tell, we're also sort of good. Maybe championship level, but I wouldn't call it that. There's probably better teams. Yeah, we're just so excited. Comms were pretty good throughout the whole thing. We were pretty upset when we got capped with 4 minutes on Hanamura. But, you know, then I C9'd them, so it's okay.
Just want to take the credit.
That was
Listen, I gotta put my resume out there.
Yeah, of course you do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, like honestly, like long series, of course. You guys, I don't know if you had any info about Backcap boys becoming like before coming into this, because you know they kept throwing things at you. I feel like the Symmetra set at Hanamura, just in general, the more divey Tracer Genji style
in the winners finals, and we took note of all the comps they played, and we beat them 3-1. I think is that right, Sebs?
Okay.
Yeah. 3-1, and then we knew they knew our comps. Because this is a bit of a mind bender, but we warmed up against them in the round before, so they knew our comps running into the winners final, so they countercomped us there. So then we countercomped their countercomps for the grand final.
It didn't work.
It also didn't work. But we tried it.
It's for night market.
Yeah, so it's the reverse psychology. I see.
I think we actually confused ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, that sometimes is the choice, right? Do you try to reverse, or do you just go, what, you know what, this is what we're comfortable with, let's just play and
after we lost Oasis the first map, we just went, you know what, heck it, I've been told I'm not allowed to swear, heck it, we're gonna not run dive, we're not good at it, we're just gonna run what we're good at, and it worked.
Yeah, I've got to say, they continue to break out new stuff on you guys, but on some maps you dealt with it, on some maps you struggled. What do you think was the main difference maker for you guys that allowed you to finally push past in that last map? Because I know even until then, the full dive came out, and all of a sudden it was a new game, and it felt like you guys had to learn yet again how to overcome this monster that seemingly just did not have endless pockets when it came to team competition.
I think they had a lot better pocket strats. For example, they were very good at the May Sim comp. However, I think we played at a more consistently high level. So as soon as we figured out how to beat it, we could reproduce it. And you saw, like, the first map on Oasis, we got stomped 99-0. And then on the second one, we won like 100 to 60, 130. And then on the fourth one, it was 100-0, or third one, I'm sorry. So as soon as we figured out how to do things, they got less and less effective. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. Adaptability. It's all about in the end, right? Because you can prepare for everything, but if you throw something else, you got to switch. You gotta do something. So it's always good to hear. So I mean, you were talking before, like you were just screaming in the comms afterwards. Like, are you like the shot caller most of the time, Lilith, or like what's going on?
We have a very loud team, so I'm the ult tracker, and I usually tell people what to do, but sometimes they don't listen to me and they listen to someone else.
That's me. I have my music very loud, so I don't have to listen to him.
All right, well, you're not supposed to tell me that. Our main tank also talks a lot, and Racer, our main support, talks a lot. Sometimes the things he says are good, though, so keep him around.
Yeah, you gotta listen sometimes.
He kept us in check the entire game, because like sometimes
with 6 maps.
Yeah, he was like consistently like in the right mindset to go.
Racer's great. He's a very memey guy, but he's been with us for since January actually as a team, and he's leaving. We're gonna miss him.
That's a sad one to see go. But a lot of talk about these players going on. I'll chuck some over to Sebs real quick. If you had to hand it to one person on your team who may or may not be in this call right now, who do you think really pulled through tonight? Obviously, I mean, it takes 6 people to win this champion. It takes 6 people to win 6 maps. Like, it goes a long distance. Was there anybody that you specifically felt like really showed up tonight?
I hate singling anyone out because honestly, I don't think that one person did better than the other today. I think literally everyone pulled their weight. Racer, literally popped off, kept us alive through thick and thin. Like I thought we were gonna die so many times, and then we just stayed alive. And Nemo consistently played the horse. Oh yeah. And then Snipes is just Snipes. He randomly pops off at times and literally carries fights because he just can hit shots and has incredible aim.
Sometimes he gets slapped 3 fights in a row.
I honestly wouldn't. I think if
I'll take it though. I'll take it.
I'd give it to Racer. I'd give it to
Okay.
Racer.
We'll give you that one, of course, because we cannot hear the comms. But if you guys say like, yeah, you kept us level-headed as well, was in the right mindset all the time, that can make such a difference.
Mhm.
So it's good to hear that they had that on. But yeah, honestly, I'm still reeling from the entire series. Like I'm just here, like I didn't even know what happened in the last like few hours. It's just
Yeah, does anybody actually remember map 1 at this point? Like that was how long ago?
What was map 1?
We played Nepal.
I think Nepal, right? Yeah.
We got comps ready for Nepal. So that was cool.
Oh, the map where patty cakes got born. That's yeah. You guys, if you watch the VOD back, that yeah. So we still want to apologize to patty cakes. We did really don't mean harm. He really did. Yeah, he actually turned the definition around a few times.
In the break between round 1 and 2, he complained about you guys just carrying.
Oh yeah, we saw. Like we have the match chat open here, so we can like see what the players are saying about us in lobby. It's it happens. We know what's going on, but that doesn't make us stop because we can't just stop doing something if someone doesn't like it, right?
You gotta do it more, actually. I think
more.
Them's the rules. Hey, well, I'll tell you what you guys don't like, and that's being congratulated. And honestly, I can't congratulate you guys enough. Huge victory, huge night for you guys, and off a ridiculous match. This one goes down in GitGud history. I don't think there's any doubt in that. So a huge pat on the back to you guys, and I'll let you guys go ahead, either celebrate or sleep. I'm not sure which of the two you guys prefer. I know you're likely not going to be playing more Overwatch after this for a good little bit. So enjoy whatever it is you guys choose to do.
Thank you very much. Thanks for hosting the tournament. I'm glad we could compete in it. I'm glad we could show that we're not just a bunch of plats. Most of us came from a draft league before this, which was diamond plats only. And so we're back-to-back champions. We're all super proud of winning this. So yeah, we're all very tired. Probably going to go take a bunch of snaps.
Hey, very well deserved, guys. Thanks so much for popping in for the interview.
Thank you for having us.
All right, ladies and gents, I'll say that's all we have for tonight, but that is by no means all. That is just the tip of the iceberg. That was an insane night of matches, both between the advanced and the rookie division. All sorts of insane stuff. I know you had a good time, Classy. I know I had a good time. Guys, if you appreciate the endless talking, and I mean endless for hours on end, if you appreciate the production, staying up, go ahead and shoot everyone a follow. I know there's a caster's command. I know that the people observing, Vinny came up and helped us out big time. Huge shout out to the production crew here for doing that. I know we've got some credits to show, so go ahead and show some love to everybody who helped out here at Get Good, to everybody who stayed up to the match. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Dor. He's been Man of Class. So you guys go get some sleep and have a good night.